Welcome everyone to college football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com. Less than a minute from kickoff under threatening skies at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Today a couple of 3-0 teams go head-to-head. It's Wisconsin and Michigan in the Big Ten opener for each school. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman will be joined in a moment by Rob Stone. Michigan coming in off its rout at Notre Dame last week, trying to avoid a letdown, and Coach Lloyd Carr has been telling his team since the first day of fall training camp, this is the most dangerous turnaround game they will face all year.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a letdown for this reason. One, they look back at 7-5. They're motivated by that. Two, it's the start of the Big Ten season. This is a veteran football team that takes care of business on the practice field, motivates their teammates, and they're ready to get this Big Ten season off to a strong start against a pretty talented foe in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin won the toss and deferred, so Michigan will receive, and Steve Breaston a chance to make history. Taylor Melhoff kicks off. The left-footed place taker drives it deep into the end zone, and Breaston took a knee. So Michigan will begin at the 20-yard line, led by Chad Henne. He's a junior from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, leading 54% for the season. And a new powder there, Arsenal last week in the win at Notre Dame, was the deep ball. They saw a lot of blitzes from the Irish, and they made Notre Dame pay. Mike Hart gets the call on first down and gets bounced forward out near the 24-yard line. The Michigan offense brought to you by Nivea for Men. Offensive coordinator Mike DeBoard wanted to establish the running game in the early season. They did that. Now he's hoping for big plays, and they're capable of giving them big plays are Steve Breaston and Mario Manningham. Manningham scored 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, the one thing they need to do, both as a receiving tandem, is be more consistent in catching the football. Both of them have their share of drops.
Play action pass by Henne, and a quick throw to the near side to Adrian Arrington. He battles for extra yardage out near the 38. Jack Aikagwanu made the tackle for a revamped Wisconsin defense, but they do have veterans. They're giving up only 8 points per game through their first 3 games of the year. The biggest stars are all seniors. Joe Monty up front, Mark Zalewski at linebacker, and the safeties Roderick Rogers and Joe Stellmacher.
Certainly their biggest test of the year, and their front 7 has got to play well and control Michigan's running game if they want a shot to keep the Wolverine offense in check.
After a 14-yard gain, Hart the lone back with 3 wide receivers. Hart's rushed for 100 or more in each of their first 3 games. Jason Chapman took him down at the 41-yard line, a gain of 3 for the junior from Syracuse, New York.
It's the one thing in luxury that Michigan has, Sean, with Michael Hart, that he never goes down on first contact, and he has that rare ability to always fall forward after contact. That's a gift, believe me.
Fullback Olivo back on the field. Another play action pass for Chad Henne with some running room now, and he gets popped out of bounds near a first down at the 48-yard line, banged out by Roderick Rogers, a gain of 6.
And a little miscommunication right there. Chad Henne's waiting for Mario Manningham to turn around. Mario Manningham didn't get the job done because he's down there throwing blocks downfield. You had Breaston on the post, you had Ecker in the slot, and see, look, Chad's looking, turn around, Mario, turn around. But he does have the awareness to tuck it and run and get positive yards.
And he just did get the first down for Michigan. Manningham out to the near side, the bottom of your screen. And it's Hart following the fullback, Obi Olivo. Jonathan Casillas made the tackle, but Hart crossed midfield to the Wisconsin 48. Casillas, part of a talented linebacking group. Mike Hankwitz is the new defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. 37-year coaching veteran in college football. He says this might be the fastest linebacker group he has ever coached.
Yeah, but they need to get a little bit more stout because Casillas made contact at the line of scrimmage. But again, Hart showing that power. 5'9", he doesn't play like 5'9".
2nd and 6. The quick toss to Breston. Down to the 44 in the arms of DeAndre Levy. Michigan with impact players everywhere you look, but so far this season, the men making the most impact. Hart, who's rushed for 100 or more in every game, and Woodley with 4 sacks already through 3 games to give him 16 career. Big 3rd down and 2 from just inside the Wisconsin 44. And he'll throw for it, throws the slant, bobbled by Manningham and intercepted by Alan Langford. And he's down at the 40-yard line. So Michigan, 2nd in the nation in turnover margin, coming in at +8. Turns it over on their first possession into the arms of Brett Bielema's defense.
Well, Chad has what he wants. He has man-to-man coverage, and we talked about in the open when we highlighted the Michigan wide receivers. Sure, they're dangerous, but the one thing that they have problems with is being consistent and catching the ball. That's a catchable football. But right there, you see Langford, Johnny on the spot, tip drill, executes. Big play for Wisconsin's defense to get off to a fast start, put their offense in good field position.
At the 40, 2nd interception for Langford this season, 4th of his career, and he's a native Michigander from just up the street in Detroit. And a powerful run on 1st down for P.J. Hill, the redshirt freshman. You'll see the bulk of the handoffs from John Stocco. Stocco having his typical solid year, the senior from Richfield, Minnesota, in his 3rd year as starting quarterback with a record of 22-6. Here's Langford out of Cass Tech in the Detroit area. They had a competition to see who their starting tailback would be in preseason. P.J. Hill has emerged. He's leading the Big Ten in rushing and adding to that total comfortably across midfield and down to the 37-yard line of the Wolverines. Ryan Mundy, the safety, made the tackle, but it's a gain of 17 for Hill, averaging 138 yards rushing through the first 3.
Yeah, watch Craig Herbeck right here, big tight end, getting outside, getting a block on David Harris, and you see P.J. Hill not only built for power inside, Sean, but able to get that corner. Led by the big fellow, Herbeck. Big man getting around, getting a block, sealing the linebacker from scraping.
Hill averaging just under 6 yards per carry for the year. Stocco with a deep drop. We're running out of time. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage. The pass incomplete. Alan Branch was putting heat on Stocco. John O'Neill is the referee leading our Big Ten crew. Michigan was offside. It looked like it was right over the center. Lloyd Carr agitated early. Take a look at the Wisconsin offensive starting lineup, brought to you by Nivea for Men. They lost 8 starters from their offensive a year ago, a team that set the school record for points. But they do have, as usual, the mammoth offensive line, anchored by the All-American Joe Thomas. Lloyd Carr says he can't remember a bigger offensive line of the Big Ten. That group averages 6'7", 319 pounds. If you're 6'7", 319, you're average on that line.
Pay extra for clothes, too.
1st and 5 at the Michigan 32. Daiwan Rowan, the backup tailback, part of that preseason competition, couldn't get started. Morgan Trent, the corner up to force the play. Rondell Biggs also in on the stop. Michigan #1 in the nation against the run entering today's action, giving up just 21 yards per game on the ground. They have headliners all over, but a couple of unheralded players singled out by Lloyd Carr yesterday. Alan Branch and David Harris. Harris, their leading tackler. And Coach Carr says he has a chance to be regarded as one of the best linebackers they've ever had at Michigan when he leaves.
Yeah, those are high words for David Harris. What a neat young man, Sean. We had a chance to spend some time with him yesterday. Great kid.
Loss of 5 on the first carry by Rowan. Hill's back in the game. Middle screen with a tight end, Andy Crooks. There's a flag down. Thrown by the line judge on the near side of the field. Crooks short of the first down at the 29. Shy by 2. Will Johnson, a reserve defensive tackle, made the stop. They'll roll in a lot of players on that D-line. 8 yards on the gain if it stands.
There's no foul on the play.
Flag
Wisconsin
picked up.
snapped the ball with 11 players.
And it'll be 3rd down and a long 2 for Brett Bielema. First year as the Wisconsin coach. After 2 as defensive coordinator under the legendary Barry Alvarez. That looked like a face mask. They threw the flag and then picked it up.
I think the call was whether they had 11 guys on the field or not. And miscounted. Got away. Michigan got away with one on the face mask. Would have been an automatic first down.
Power formation, but they'll throw out of it with Stocco. Under duress. Dumps it off and has a man wide open. P.J. Hill out of the backfield. Down to the goal line and into the end zone. No signal yet. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Well, you're playing man coverage right there. You better stay on your man and do not take your eyes off the man. Watch P.J. Hill. He's going to check for protection. He's going to sneak out into the flat. You have 3 linebackers chasing one guy across the field. P.J. Hill goes to the opposite side. John Stocco, in his veteran presence, understands he sees 3 guys making a mistake, dumps it to P.J., and P.J. finds the end zone.
Taylor Melhoff to add the extra point. It is good. P.J. Hill, the 29-yard touchdown reception. Ron English, the defensive coordinator, said yesterday every score we've given up this year was because of an execution mistake. Well, there was a breakdown there. Hill wide open, and he took it the distance.
Guys, I'll be just a couple minutes, okay?
I'm gonna go down to the lobby and get a toothbrush.
We've been here for 3 days, and you're just now realizing that you don't have a toothbrush?
I had gum. What?
I don't know if it's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. It's really fresh gum. It smells fine.
No. Let me smell.
Fine.
Okay. I'll meet you guys in the restaurant.
Pressure. Enemy of engines. Enemy of pressure. Pennzoil Platinum. It's the full synthetic with adaptive molecules that continually join forces to help conquer the enormous pressure inside your engine. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Why you always get the first? Because I have the higher point.
Hey. It's Bobby Bond. I'm gonna touch him.
Now would be a good time to have accident forgiveness. Part of Allstate Your Choice Auto Insurance. Are you in good hands?
Introducing Gillette Fusion. On the front, 5 blades, and on the back, the first ever precision trimmer, perfect for under the nose, straightening sideburns, and around facial hair. The best shave ever. In manual and battery power. Gillette Fusion.
Virus recovery button. The Lenovo ThinkPad Z60 with Intel Centrino mobile technology.
This game is being broadcast in high definition on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Plasma Displays. P.J. Hill, the redshirt freshman, with the first score of the ball game. From East Elmhurst, New York, out of Brooklyn Prep. Thought he might have been a factor as a backup to Brian Calhoun last year. Calhoun had a tremendous year, was a 3rd-round draft choice of the Detroit Lions as he left school early. But Hill broke his leg in the preseason a year ago, sat out the entire year as a medical redshirt. But has been tremendous as Calhoun's replacement this year. Melhoff squibs it. Comes up to the short man, Johnny Sears. Breaks a couple of tackles. And it's finally ridden down at the 27-yard line. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman. We'll welcome in Rob Stone in a moment. So much of the focus this week on Michigan off the big win against Notre Dame. They moved up from 11th to 6th in the rankings. But a lot of people still trying to figure out Wisconsin, Chris. They're 3-0, but a pretty weak non-conference schedule they've played so far. Bowling Green, Western Illinois, San Diego State.
Well, I believe that schedule helped them get ready for this opener in the Big Ten. And anytime you have a veteran quarterback like John Stocco, who hasn't played well, but today he's shown his composure, made a great decision, checked off to PJ, who PJ took it for the TD.
Mike Hart, the one back. Henny, the play action pass and the bullet. Kamario Manningham out to the 37, a little bit short of the first down. Jack Ikakwanu had the coverage. They have very young cornerbacks. They're talented but young, and that'll be a matchup of speed against speed. Manningham can fly, and Ikakwanu can hold his own in that department.
Chad Henne talked to Mike DeBoard yesterday. We asked him what the one thing Chad's doing better this year than he did last year is accuracy. And I've seen it all. We did the Vanderbilt game. He was on target. His completion percentage is only 54%. But there's a lot of drops. And just the confidence that he has to throw the outcut like he just did, that's a confident quarterback that does throw the ball accurately.
That was a big win for Henne last week. Veteran starter, 19-8 as a starter, but he hadn't beaten Notre Dame, he hadn't beaten Ohio State, and he hadn't won the bowl game. One of those off the list last week. With more on that, here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, Coach Carr was all over this potential letdown game theory back in preseason. First team meeting, he went over the schedule with the team and the staff and circled this game and said, guys, this is going to be your toughest turnaround game. You're going to be coming off the emotion of the Notre Dame contest, followed by a team with a solid defense that beat them last year. The players took it to heart. Mike Hart told us yesterday our best practice last week would not be good enough for this week.
After the 3-yard gain by Hart for the first down. On first down, he gets the carry again on second and runs into the arms of Mark Zalewski. Out at the 43-yard line, it'll be 3rd down and 4. Zalewski, senior from Wausau, Wisconsin. Outstanding in the middle of that speedy linebacker corps.
A guy that's really upped his game, Sean, from his junior year. Came out and improved in the spring and has really gotten off to a fast start for the Badger defense and has become the leader of that Badger defense.
His 29th career start. Two-time team captain. Another big 3rd down. 3rd down and 4. Henne slipped on the wet grass and is sacked by Jason Chapman. We had rain here yesterday. Some rain here this morning. It's DeAndre Levy, not Jason Chapman, who took Henne to the ground. A loss of 5. And there is the threat of some severe weather here this afternoon.
Well, Levy is built for speed. They exploit the big, heavy offensive lineman by putting a 215-pound linebacker that understands how pad level works, beats the lineman around the corner with speed and leverage.
Zoltan Mesko, the sophomore, to punt. Zach Hampton back for it. Hampton has a bit of room. He is fearless returning those punts. Flag down. Hampton down at the 35. 37-yard punt. Run back 10 by Hampton, the senior from Lancaster, Wisconsin. David Harris, starting linebacker, made the tackle on punt coverage for Michigan, adding to his team leading tackle total. And they'll back up the Badgers after the illegal block.
During the return, illegal block in the back against the return team, number 42. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Jameel Walker called for the illegal block. Impressive opening drive engineered by Stocco. Can the Badgers do it again?
With over 1.5 million vehicle listings to choose from on Cars.com, you can find the right car for you.
Blue it is.
Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
What exactly is a sport utility wagon? It handles rugged terrain like an SUV. It tows like an SUV. But at 28 miles per gallon highway, it sips gas like a Subaru. The new Subaru Outback Sport Utility Wagon with road-gripping all-wheel drive and better fuel economy than any midsize SUV, starting under $22,000.
There are some crazy blades out there, so reach for the ultimate balm. Replenishing aftershave balm with Care Protect soothes and repairs the damage from shaving. Only from Nivea for Men.
It's late. You're hungry. And you're not Karen. It's time for fourth meal. The late night meal between dinner and breakfast. Heard of the pyramid? Check out the square. All the tastes in a delicious fourth meal. Melted, crunchy, spicy, and grilled. The tastes are exciting. Only Taco Bell's got them. Everyone's a fourth mealer. How you doing? Some just don't know it yet. If it's not fourth meal, it's just food.
Energizer E² lithium batteries let you take up to 630 photos in digital cameras versus up to just 90 with leading ordinary alkaline batteries. Energizer E² lithium keeps going and going.
ESPN's college football is presented by Cars.com. Find the right car for you. Cars.com. And in part by Subaru. Safety of all-wheel drive standard. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And Nivea for Men replenishing aftershave balm for a shaving world gone mad.
Welcome back to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Temperature in the mid-60s, high humidity at 90%. And the crowd engaged early. A surprising start here is undefeated Wisconsin. A considerable underdog today has the first score. Moving along the line. Alan Branch came across, but was he drawn? The crowd thinks it was Andy Kemp who moved.
5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, you need to throw the assist to the Wolverine crowd right there. Responding well. They're responding well to adversity. Look at your left guard right here. He's going to jump a little bit. Look, he's got the twitchy hands. When you got the twitchy hands, that means you're ready. You got to hold the water. Hold the water. Don't burst.
Andy Kemp, the sophomore, jumped. He's a first-year starter and still getting acclimated to environs such as these. P.J. Hill, the lone back. He had 52 of their 55 yards of offense on the opening drive and has plenty more. A nice cutback. And he's ridden down by Ryan Mundy. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, Louisville on the road at Kansas State. Hunter Cantwell starting in place of the injured Brian Brom. And Harry Douglas has a brain cramp on the opening kickoff. And he gets tackled at his own 3. That's not the situation you want to put a quarterback in. Unless he's Hunter Cantwell, who promptly went 4 for 4. Found the aforementioned Mr. Douglas for the touchdown. 12 play, 97 yards. And Louisville's up just like that, 7-0.
Kansas State, another of those 3-0 teams like Wisconsin that'll face its biggest test by far today. Hill, after the 10-yard gain, bottled up that time, did turn it into a gain to the 25. They'll need 3 more on third down. Coming off an impressive win last Saturday at Tennessee, Chris Leak in 5th-ranked Florida welcomed the Kentucky Wildcats to Gainesville tonight. That's college football primetime on ESPN, 7:45 Eastern time. All college football games on ESPN and ESPN2 are available in high definition. College football lives here. Florida's won the last 19 head-to-head with Kentucky. Hill came off, so it's Daiwan Rowan with a single back. They bunch the formation to the right on 3rd down and 3. Stocko to throw. Running out of time, has a man, has a first down. Paul Hubbard, their leading receiver on the year with 8 catches through the first 3 ball games. Leon Hall ran him out, but Hubbard made it to the 31 and a gain of 6, first down.
One of the things about handling a pressure defense like Michigan, you have to have good blitz pickup. Watch Daiwan Rowan right there, knocking down David Harris to allow Stocko and the receiver Hubbard to clear, get to the open. Stocko makes a little adjustment with his feet, delivers a first down. Good job by Rowan coming in. Blitz pickup. Nice.
Daiwan Rowan dropped for a loss of a couple, perhaps even 3 by David Harris. We look at the impact players. Stocko, the veteran quarterback. Joe Thomas, the veteran offensive tackle and All-American. Other than that, a lot of new faces, including P.J. Hill.
And we saw Joe Thomas on film yesterday, Sean, where he seems to be back to his All-American type form. He took 2 guys and threw the knockout shot on both of them on the same play. Big fella that can move.
Stocko with 3 completions today, now second all-time in Wisconsin on the career completions list. Has 415. He moved ahead of Brooks Bollinger, behind only Darrell Bevel. Bevel at 646, so Stocko won't catch him today, but he might catch him before the year is over. It would take a Herculean effort, obviously. Unlikely to happen. Luke Swan tackled by Sean Crable at the 38. Another key 3rd down and 3.
Key for Wisconsin's offense has been the inconsistency of John Stocko in the first 3 ball games. Well, today he's consistent, and he's bringing his game up to Big Ten level.
He felt like his footwork was off last week against San Diego State when he threw for just 85 yards. Blitz, he's in trouble, and he throws it. No receiver there, grounding call. Prescott Burgess, who had a monster game last week against Notre Dame and was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, got right in the face of Stocko to force the intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding. Number 7 on the offense. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. 4th down.
See Prescott Burgess right here. He's looking. We have a zone blitz package right here. The weakness of the area is over there where he's got to throw to his left. Prescott Burgess comes untouched and is able to force the intentional grounding on John Stocko. Just a nice little chess game going on between Paul Chryst, the OC for Wisconsin, and Ryan English, the DC for the Wolverines. 1-1 so far on blitz pickup.
Dangerous Steve Breston, 3 career punt returns for touchdowns. Back for the punt from DeBosch. It is a low punt by Ken DeBush. And excellent coverage as usual with Zach Hampton right there to greet the receiver as he fields the punt. Kim Royston also there, and Ben Strickland. 47-yard punt and no return. Michigan begins at its 29 when we come back.
They say you can't control the weather. They say you can't control road conditions. And they say you can't get an affordable car that's safe. The new Subaru Impreza, the only car in its class with all-wheel drive and the highest crash test rating. Nicely equipped at less than 18 grand.
Saturday. Nothing to complain about, unless you're working. In which case, we hope you're complaining. It's college football day, so that should tide you over. Then try to get home and throw the football around with your friends' kids, your friends' kids' friends. Then rest up, because there's only 2 days to the big showdown on Monday night. 2 days till Bush and the Saints head home to the Superdome to face the Falcons at 8:30. 2 days until Monday night. Now that alone is a reason to smile, even if you're working.
Here's Bargain Network, the place to find real bargains. Buy cars from bank and government seizures. This car sold $500. This car sold $800. IRS, DEA, repos, impounds, and more. This car sold $500. Find thousands of cars and homes available right now in your area. Foreclosed homes and distressed properties are selling for as low as $199 per month. VAs, FHAs, HUDs, repos, and more. For current listings in your area, call now.
800-370-2198.
Here's my first dish. I replaced it with this one, so I could have 2 TVs.
Uh-huh.
Here's my latest. I added it when I upgraded to high def.
Why would you bother with satellite when Time Warner Cable lets you get tons of entertainment without having to deal with tons of equipment?
And here's my collection of satellite receivers.
Wow. That's really something.
I know.
Save yourself from equipment hassles. Get Time Warner Digital Cable.
Still threatening skies, but no precipitation at the moment. Our college football presentation brought to you by Cars.com. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, the usual crowd. More than 100,000, well over 100,000. Maybe the 196th straight game here at the Big House with 100,000 plus, dating back to 1975. And Henny delights most of them with a strike right down the seam to Adrian Arrington. Big gain into Wisconsin territory. Joel Stelmacher, the tackle, 33 yards on the pickup for Michigan.
It's a good recognition of man coverage by Chad Henne. Does a good job of looking to his left, knowing he has the big fella running the seam route, Abington, on a matchup that he liked with Roderick Rogers. But the whole setup was by Cheney looking left, coming right, and recognizing man coverage. The reason he looked left to pull the safety there, deliver it to the right where the safety's not.
Second catch for Arrington. That matches his single gain high in his career. Now it's Hart dragging tacklers with him. Close to another first down. Kurt Ware made the tackle. Charlie Weiss, the Notre Dame coach, admiringly said of Mike Hart, he is a power runner. Sometimes you look at him at under 5'9", 195, you wouldn't think so, but he runs tough inside.
Yeah, but below that waist, man, he is big and thick, and you can see that his legs never stop churning again. The uncanny ability to always fall forward and run through people.
Hart did get the first down. First and 10 Michigan, 28-yard line. Hart again lowering his head to the 24. Here's Reese.
Sean, Taco Bell studio update, Lane Stadium, Cincinnati and Virginia Tech. You know, Virginia Tech had blocked only 11 kicks the previous 3 seasons. This their 4th block kick, 3rd block punt, goes down to the back of the end zone, courtesy of Josh Morgan. Hokies up by 2. Clemson has a James Davis touchdown. They're up by 7 on North Carolina.
Here at 7-0 Wisconsin, but Michigan on the move. Second and 6 at the 24. A little razzle-dazzle. The handoff to Breston. Wisconsin not fooled. Roderick Rogers, the safety. There was a gain on the play to the 20. Let's go back and look at some key plays from early in this first quarter. On 3rd down, a deflected pass picked off by Alan Langford. Wisconsin's first possession on offense after the turnover. And on a 3rd down and 2 from the 29, Stocco dumped it off to P.J. Hill. The extra point good by Taylor Melhoff at 7-0 Badgers. 1 minute to go now in the first quarter, and another in a quarter filled with big 3rd down play. 3rd and 2 from the 20. Hart with all kinds of blockers didn't get there. Mark Zalewski stayed in the gap with help from DeAndre Levy. The crowd wants Lloyd Carr to go for this 4th down and 1.
I think you go. I think you find out who you are. Strap them up, get low paddle, look to hurry up defense. Wisconsin's having trouble getting lined up. They get that umpire out of the way, they can run a play.
And he keeps it. I don't know. Crowd roaring, but those officials don't look to be across that yellow line. Well, it's the old which foot will they spot with routine now.
If you're Chad Henne, you're that pile. You got to keep moving that ball forward underneath. No matter where that foot is, you keep moving that ball forward.
It is going to be ever so close.
I like the concept, though, of trying to get hurried up out there, get lined up and run the sneak. The umpire stayed over the ball like he should, but Wisconsin's defense was able to line up and maybe able to stop the sneak by Henne. The idea was well thought. Coach Carr?
Was the execution good enough? Based on that yellow line, I don't think so. They are short. Wisconsin holds for Brett Bielema.
Well, the other thing, too, that you might want to think about, is you might want to take your time. Besides the quarterback sneak, by the way, you have a running back that's pretty solid power.
You just like the hurry up. Now they bring out the change. You don't like the hurry up.
I do like the hurry up, but I also know that I have number 20 in the backfield, either or. I mean, it's easy right now to sit up here and second guess, but you do have number 20 in the backfield that never falls backward, always falls forward. But the concept was good and the idea was good. Wisconsin executed better than Michigan.
Coach is on the phone asking Chad Henne if he could grow an inch or 2. Not quite tall enough at 6'2". Here come the Badgers. And there goes P.J. Hill, smothered. led by Alan Branch. The coaches singing his praises yesterday. He's backed up those words with his performance in the first quarter, which has come to an end. First quarter this year in which Michigan has failed to score. They had scored in all 12 over their first 3 ball games. 7-0 Badgers.
Notre Dame, Michigan State, or USC, Arizona, tonight at 8. Here we go!
Introducing Gillette Fusion. On the front, 5 blades, and on the back, the first ever precision trimmer, perfect for under the nose, straightening sideburns, and around facial hair. The best shave ever in manual and battery power. Gillette Fusion.
Hey, spending limit? Who cares?
Not us, cause them ain't all credit cards.
Sure ain't.
Them motorcycles was expensive and fast.
And loud.
Oh yeah, them bikes be like wah.
No, like.
They went like wah. Sound good cause they free. Shoot.
Yeah, shoot.
Citi Identity Theft Solutions. Talk to a real person to help get your life back. Free when you get a Citi credit card or Citibank account.
What exactly is a sport utility wagon? It handles rugged terrain like an SUV. It tows like an SUV. But at 28 miles per gallon highway, it sips gas like a Subaru. The new Subaru Outback Sport Utility Wagon with road-gripping all-wheel drive and better fuel economy than any midsize SUV, starting under $22,000.
I'm just saying, girl, I am made to order.
Dad? What's going on? First you're selling yourself for $1 and now this?
Stop treating me like I'm on the kids menu.
Whopper Jr. for $1. Bringing some attitude to the BK value menu.
P.J. Hill, Mike Hart, 1 and 2 in the Big Ten in rushing coming in. A standstill in rushing in the first quarter, but Hill has the game's only touchdown on a 29-yard reception for Coach Brett Bielema. Facing his biggest test as a first-year head coach. Just 36 years old. Stocko throws incomplete. Brett Bielema was the defensive coordinator up in Madison last year when these two teams met. And it was part of the unraveling of the Michigan season that ended at 7-5 and out of the top 25 for the first time since 1984. When we talked with Lloyd Carr yesterday about that game, he said so many missed opportunities, including a 4th and 1 at the goal line on which we were stopped. Well, here we go again for Michigan.
Well, and that's Wisconsin has a lot of confidence. Even though they're an underdog in this game, they have a lot of confidence when they play Michigan because of the past success they've had against Michigan.
3rd down and 13 now. Stocko throws short and almost intercepted for a touchdown. Prescott Burgess, who had 2 picks last week, including 1 for a score at Notre Dame, almost had his 2nd score in as many weeks. This Michigan defense has scored 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games.
Yeah, Stocko's looking right at his receiver, P.J. Hill. And Prescott a little late with his hands. If he gets his hands up there, he's able to get number 2 in 2 weeks. But that was because Stocko was staring down P.J. Hill. Good break by Prescott Burgess on the ball.
Wendell Bush, the junior punter, set the Wisconsin record last year, averaged 44.8. He says he hasn't been punting up to his standards this year. Breaston with his usual high standard return. Ran it back all the way to the 35-yard line. There's a flag down near where Breaston fielded the punt. The snapper, Steve Johnson, made the tackle. 49-yard punt. 29 on the return. There is a flag.
Now, this is where, as a punt return team, and you're a player on the punt return, you must maintain your discipline. If you think it's close to blocking the guy in the back, you pull off. In other words, do not use your hands, but go ahead and throw your hands up in the air. Whoa, and belly bump him. But never mind, that's for a later time.
And that's the second time today. Either you saw something or you didn't. Well, that's what they saw.
Right there, they might have had Sean Crable, and they picked it up.
Yeah, they had Ben Strickland very close to an illegal block. Apparently, after discussion, they determined it was not. That's a big pickup. Means about 30 yards of field position. Now great field position at the Wisconsin 36. Mike Hart with running room. And Joe Stelmacher up from his safety spot. Former walk-on who's become a standout for Wisconsin. Stops it after an 8-yard gain.
Well, we'll take a look here at Jake Long. Watch this block he gets on the defensive end. This is talking about manhandle. This is Brandon Kelly. Look at that, hands inside. Pancake, knockdown, KO, bring another one on. That's why Jake Long's Jake Long. And that's why Mike Hart runs like Mike Hart runs, because Jake Long puts guys through the turf.
Mike Hart says the absence of Jake Long for 7 games last year, the biggest reason why Michigan went that disappointing 7-5. Hart running behind his buddy Long has the first down to the 24. Here's Reese.
All right, Sean, Clemson has a history of playing down to his competition, not really responding well after big victories, not so much against North Carolina. Look at the youngster C.J. Spiller dancing in there. The big news is Clemson has made 2 extra points. They're up 14-0.
Well, the extra point was critical in their overtime loss at Boston College. North Carolina with 1 win, and that was a 3-pointer against 1AA Furman. Kevin Grady in at tailback to give Hart a breather. Deep drop by Henne. One-on-one coverage in the end zone. It is caught! Mario Manningham, a terrific catch with Alan Langford draped all over him.
Confidence, Sean. A little stutter and go. Henne's thrown it to the back pylon, knowing that Mario could win the battle of the jump ball between Alan Langford. Mario didn't let him down this time. He had stick-em hands as opposed to slippery hands, and makes the big play for the Wolverines. But a confident throw, right? Coverage.
Touchdowns last week for Manningham on those confident throws from Henne. And a touchdown today. 24 yards. The extra point good by Garrett Rivas. We're tied at 7. 6th touchdown throw of the year for Chad Henne.
Hey, what's up? I could use some help. Come on.
Who is that guy?
D-Wade!
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's hot out here, huh? My dream is to leave the world a better place than I found it. Good job, buddy.
That's awesome.
Yo! Hey, Coach.
The new 2007 Lincoln Navigator. With enough room for, well, the basketball team. Life's going. Where to next?
When you've got nighttime sinus problems, the agony is written all over your face. There's the unbearable pressure, the cloggy congestion, and the throbbing pain. But now, there's new NyQuil Sinus. It lets you turn out the light on sinus symptoms so you can sleep. New NyQuil Sinus. Good night, sinus pain. For daytime sinus relief, try non-drowsy DayQuil Sinus.
Our new countertop actually reduces the spread of bacteria. It's wicked. And this is chalkboard paint. It's off the hook. And our new washer uses about half the energy in water. Maytag is slamming.
Mom, you're freaking me out.
Don't miss the Home Depot Home Show. Discover hundreds of today's smartest, most innovative ideas for your home, like a Maytag dryer that dries clothes in the time it takes to wash them. Now at the Home Depot Home Show.
Mario Manningham, off a career performance last week against Notre Dame, scored a touchdown set up by excellent field position after a flag on the punt return was picked up. Brett Bielema was really chewing on the officials during the timeout, asking them why did the flag get picked up. We thought we saw at least one illegal block on the play in which the flag was picked up. Difference of about 30 yards in field position. Made it a much shorter field for the Wolverines, just 36 yards. The last 24 on the reception by Manningham. Ben Strickland thought about running it out and will not. It was Josh Nettles who took a knee in the end zone. So now Wisconsin in a tie game 7-7 early in the second quarter.
Brett, when he was in exchange with the official, Sean, asked for an explanation. Why'd he pick it up? He never got one. Never got an explanation. Do it on the field.
First and 10, the I formation. P.J. Hill trying to follow the block of the fullback Renmeister. And Craig Urbik, he got yanked down by David Harris, fifth-year senior from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the son of a factory worker. His dad works in an auto plant as a die-cast technician. Said, is your dad going to be here today? He said, no, my mom makes all the games, but my dad has to work.
Yeah, David's a good kid, and David got away with a face mask right there. Good call, incidental face mask, but David Harris is a solid football player.
Gain of 1 for P.J. Hill. Stocko pursued by Alan Branch from behind. He can run it well over 300 pounds and forces Stocko to throw it away. Matter of fact, when we spoke with Ron English, the defensive coordinator yesterday, he said Branch thinks he could be a linebacker or a safety. There's the first-year defensive coordinator English after a couple as the secondary coach. And Branch, the wannabe safety, is 330 pounds.
Yeah, he has a high football IQ. And for a defensive lineman, that's very unusual. Just kidding. But what he does is he'll go to Ron English and say, hey, I like this pass rush game, or I like this pass rush game. Ron English listens to the big fella because he can determine what type of protections O-lines are using.
Branch says, I hate when we blitz. We can get there with 4. They've been doing that today. They rush 4 on third down, and they get there. Lamar Woodley, his team leading 5th sack of the season.
Talk about getting better, up in your game. Lamar Woodley has done that through great practice habits. And right there was speed. He beats Eric Van Hoovel. Van den Heuvel got too high. Lamar Woodley understands pad level leverage and turns that short corner with low shoulders. Van den Heuvel, no shot. And they got there with 4.
Woodley, the defensive captain, with the sack. DeBush, the punt. Here's Breston again. Just barely upended at the 50-yard line by Paul Duran. 43-yard punt, 7 on the return by Breston. Michigan from midfield in a 7-all game.
Saturday. Nothing to complain about, unless you're working. In which case, we hope you're complaining. It's college football day, so that should tide you over. Then try to get home and throw the football around with your friends' kids, your friends' kids' friends. Then rest up, because there's only 2 days to the big showdown on Monday night. 2 days till Bush and the Saints head home to the Superdome to face the Falcons at 8:30. 2 days until Monday night. Now that alone is a reason to smile, even if you're working.
My dream? To go straight to the top.
My dream is to conquer ignorance.
My dream is to slay dragons.
My dream is to increase laughter output by 30%.
takes determination, passion,
Discipline, hard work, courage.
it takes guts
My dream?
to make a dream come true.
Life's calling. Where to next?
Bergwood, you're on the goalpost truck, you're on the car, I'm on lookout. Bergwood, are you wearing spandex?
Yeah, I got them out of my mom's drawer.
It's very sexy.
You think?
No. Yeah! Go, 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 go!
This is gonna look great in my yard.
Bergwood?
Is the strength of Allstate behind your favorite college football team?
Get full from Taco Bell's value menu.
I'm full!
Introducing Taco Bell's half-pound value menu lineup. Now fill up on any of 3 hefty half-pound burritos. To keep your stomach and your wallet full, think outside the bun.
Introducing Gillette Fusion. On the front, 5 blades, and on the back, the first ever precision trimmer, perfect for under the nose, straightening sideburns, and around facial hair. The best shave ever. In manual and battery power. Gillette Fusion.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Mercury and your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. Allstate, are you in good hands? And the Taco Bell Big Bell Value Menu. Think outside the bun.
Back at the University of Michigan, the homestanding Wolverines and the Wisconsin Badgers tied at 7. Brett Bielema, second youngest coach in this conference and in the country. Pat Fitzgerald of Northwestern 31, but he's already become a veteran coach in the way he interacts with the officials. Of course, he studied under some of the best. Mike Hart, the ball carrier. Let's go back to the punt play that got him agitated. Breston on the return. There are a couple of close plays. Go ahead and do your thing, Chris.
Yeah, right there's one. Right here's a flag. Now you'll see as the play continues, Sean Kraber will push Rentmeester in the block, and right there's a hold. And the official that threw the flag was a side judge that came from the Wisconsin sidelines. So they had their choice of 3 that they could have thrown, but they decided to pick it up. They did throw it, then they picked it up.
That meant Michigan had the ball at the 36-yard line. A lateral to Breston, who breaks a tackle and fights to the 45. So let's listen in on what the new head coach had to say to the officials.
How can he change his mind? I'm asking. He threw the flag. Now, let me tell you something, John. I've gotten 3 calls that I've gotten the wrong call in every play I've sent in. 6 plays each 3 games. I do not want this to happen for 4 quarters here today.
Feels he's been victimized in the past, and undoubtedly he'll send in a couple of plays he's not happy with today to the conference office. Talking to referee John O'Neill is Craig Jeffries, the side judge who apparently threw the flag and picked it up. They're in the ire of Coach Bielema. Penny sacked by Jonathan Casillas. Second sack of the day for the Badger defense. And it'll set up 4th down and a punt.
That's your classic coverage sack. Jake Long does a good job on Jamal Cooper. But Casillas is there to pick up the scraps. You see Jamal Cooper and Jake Long battling right there. Casillas is watching Mike Hart. Comes off his coverage. And with a nice finish on Chad Henry with a slam.
Nobody back deep for the punt for Wisconsin. They have 10 men over the ball and 1 man covering the gunner. Ross Ryan just wants to get it off. They've been alternating punters all year for Michigan. Ryan and Zoltan Mesko. It was Ryan this time. Mesko punted earlier. Ryan does a good job in these pooch situations.
Makes
a
no
39-yard punt.
Why not have a guy back up there to save yourself 15 yards? Come on, baby. Get in it.
Doesn't she look fab in this dress? It's an original. Ooh, someone's getting spoiled on her birthday. She's also chosen this scrumptious Trek mountain bike and this slinky big screen HD TV. Hot. To tie it all together,
3 days at an ESPN golf school.
look at it sparkle. It sparkles.
The ESPN Visa Card. Earn points towards sports tickets, merchandise, and experiences you can only get through ESPN. You spend, you score.
Every day, Progressive does something that's, well, progressive. They have this ticker that shows their car insurance rates and their top competitors. Right now on Progressive.com, you can see actual rates that people are getting. Sometimes Progressive is the lowest. Sometimes they're not. Hey, if they're this helpful when you're shopping for car insurance, imagine how they'll be once you're a customer.
Each team with a touchdown. 9.5 to go till halftime. Michigan had won 23 straight Big Ten Conference openers, heading into their season conference opener against Wisconsin in Madison last year. John Stocco scored the winning touchdown for the Badgers in the final minute, ending Michigan's Big Ten opener streak. And a big Michigan now for the second year in a row. P.J. Hill spins back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Here's Rob Stone.
Big butt and wide load. I'm not talking about my prom dates. Rather, the initial reaction from Wisconsin staff upon seeing P.J. Hill. Look, that's far from flattering here, but nor is his body. It's kind of pudgy and really kind of unappealing to the eyes, if you will. But that body, guys, runs with body lean. Always going forward, physical style between the tackles, and he loves punishing tacklers. Guys, he may not be chiseled, but he is already the first concern of opposing defensive coordinators.
I think that described P.J. Hill and your prom dates. 5'11", 240. Stocco looking to set up a screen. Hill breaks a tackle, now has running room. And goes to the 27-yard line. Willis Behringer made the tackle. They should have had him near the line of scrimmage. 16 yards and a first down for the Badgers.
Anytime you want to slow down a rush, you do put the screen game in, and P.J. Hill's effective running the screen. And right there, you had Sean Crable a chance to get the mitts on with coming over the top with the tackle. Prescott Burgess missed the tackle. Stocco taking some punishment. He's a tough guy. He's been around. He'll get back up.
Terrence Taylor gave Stocco the shove. But Bielema said he was very impressed with Taylor watching the film. He's a first-year starter. The ball dropped by Paul Hubbard. It's an all-new wide receiver core for Wisconsin. Of the 200 receptions they had as a team last year, they lost players who combined for 196 of those 200 receptions. Hubbard's a junior, but really seeing playing time substantially for the first time in his career. That is a big question mark on this team, wide receiver.
Well, it certainly is, and right there you saw Hubbard a chance to make a play. The ball was behind him a little bit. Actually, they're fortunate that Leon didn't pick it and go 6, the way he juggled that ball.
On 2nd and 10, this ball caught by Luke Swan, the other new first-time starter. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, Iowa trying to avoid a little peek ahead against Illinois, and right now the Hawkeyes are struggling with the Illini. Drew Tate just threw an interception near the goal line, so that game is scoreless. Illinois lost 23 of their last 24 Big Ten games. Clemson is rolling over North Carolina. James Davis, couple of touchdowns, 21-0 early second quarter.
15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Reese, and here, well, you were updating us on scores. There was a personal foul against Michigan's Tim Jamison at the end of the play. For that, club to the head of Paul Hubbard. Jameson's brother Terrence is a Wisconsin Badger.
Ticky-tack, ticky-tack, ticky-tack. Just a little love tap, let you know I'm here. It wasn't a club or a right hook.
Hit the guy in the head.
And touched him. Tapped him on the head. Good job.
Let's give him a nightstick and let him whack him with that while he's at it. P.J. Hill. That's Michigan 44. Tackled by Barringer. Let's check in again with Rob Stone.
As a right on this one, I've been tagging around Coach Bielema since he's been bugging the officials nonstop. After that little, what'd you call it, Chris? A ticky-tack?
Ticky-tack,
Ticky-tack. He turned around with a little sly grin to no one in particular. Goes, there's my makeup call.
There it is.
It's working.
There it is. That's how us defensive guys see it.
Yeah. Well, you raging tough guys. And darts commentators on the sideline. Stocko, what a throw into traffic, and Hubbard held on to that one at the 28. He got his cage rattled by Brandon Engelman and Jamar Adams, but it's 17 yards on the completion, and a very nice drive for Wisconsin to the Michigan 28.
Talking about Paul Christensen with John Stocko to his own admittance had poor footwork. When you have poor footwork, it leads to inaccurate. But right there, John gets great protection, steps up in the hole, steps to his target, and is able to follow through, which affects the accuracy, which was good on that particular play because of the good footwork.
The Wisconsin rush yards deceptive. The sack yardage comes off the rush. There's Hill on the run. As a matter of fact, when we spoke with Ron English yesterday about their great mark against the run, giving up only 21 yards per game, he said, yes, we've done a great job, but it's a little deceptive because the sack yardage goes against the opponent's rushing total.
Well, that they haven't actually played dominant rushing teams. I don't even know if Notre Dame was so far behind that they had to abandon the run, but they're getting tested today with the likes of P.J. Hill in the big trees on the front seven for the Wisconsin O-line.
Michigan's been ahead in every game against Vanderbilt, Central Michigan, and Notre Dame, so the opponents have had to lean more heavily on the throw. 2nd and 5, the delay to Hill, and he got met and driven back at the 22-yard line by David Harris. Saturday Night Football on ABC features two fantastic regional matchups tonight. Most of you will see the Fighting Irish trying to bounce back at Michigan State. Others will see number 3 USC in Arizona to take on the Wildcats. Those of you on the West Coast can watch Notre Dame Michigan State on ESPN2. After that big loss last week to Michigan, it does invite the comparison. Charlie Weiss to Tyrone Willingham. The record's identical through the first 14 games. Willingham lost after the big loss to Michigan. Will Weiss. Of course, the difference, Willingham didn't last very long. Weiss has a huge contract extension. Timeout, Badgers.
Students move on, but the spirit stays with them.
I love this place. This is home. After graduation, I moved back here. Connecting with people in the community was very important. My degree from University of Wisconsin-Madison enabled me to be a pharmacist and participate in community affairs. Every person who comes out of that university is going to affect hundreds of other lives in the community and in the world.
Sea of Maize here at the Big House. This is one of the games designated as a maize out. They encourage the fans to wear maize, and they have obliged, with the exception of the red-clad Badger fans who've made the trip over from Wisconsin. Big play here, 3rd down and 4 Badgers from the Michigan 22. 7 all, under 6 minutes to go till halftime. Hill the lone back. Stocko swings it out for Hill, too high. Forced to be a high throw by Rondell Biggs.
I like the call because you're not in threat on that particular play to have your quarterback sacked. So would you have a 4th down in a possible field goal situation, you don't leave points on the field. When you're in a red zone against a great defense like Michigan, you have to take advantage of those opportunities when you have the field position to get points.
So here's Melhoff, 2 for 3 on the year in field goals. His first attempt today. It'll be a 39-yard try out of the hole to the punter, Ken DeBush, from the left hash mark. And it is good. Melhoff, a dependable kicker. He was 3 for 3 last year in their win over Michigan in Madison.
Led by Warrick Dunn and Michael Vick, the Falcons are off to a great running start. But they will take a back seat, not to 2-0 Reggie Bush, Drew Brees, and the Saints, but to New Orleans. 13 months after Katrina, the Superdome reopens at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
Well, Monday Night Football is always special for most of us, but wow, what an historic and emotional Monday Night Football game that will be. The game compelling given the start of those two teams, but really taking a back seat to what will be tremendous emotion for that ball game in New Orleans.
Yeah, well, football is a great uniter, and it's going to be awesome to see the Superdome being used what it's supposed to be used for, a sporting event, as opposed to an emergency shelter. The season tickets have sold out for the Saints. What a statement it says about the people of New Orleans, Sean, and their love of football and their love of the Saints, and trying to get things back to normal. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait.
Elijah Bradley back deep for the kickoff along with Breston. Good boot by Melhoff. And Breston downs it in the end zone. Here's Reese.
Sean, New Hampshire taking on Dartmouth in 1AA action. The significance here, David Ball is closing in on Jerry Rice's career touchdown reception record in 1AA. He's got 2 touchdown catches in this game, 49 for his career. That is 1 behind the great Jerry Rice of Mississippi Valley State.
New Hampshire already a win over Division 1A Northwestern this year. They are a candidate to win the national championship in 1AA for Coach Sean McDonough. On 1st and 10, Henny's pass appeared to be deflected. It was still caught by Mario Manningham, and he's driven back immediately by Jack Ikeguano.
It's a good job by Manningham using his hands, because the ball is high, he uses his hands. Ikeguano right here is trying to send a message.
And Cooper got in the passing lane but did not appear to deflect it. Gain of 5.
Belly to back souffle.
Can I ask you what that means?
That's some wrestling term. I don't know. Souffle, whatever it is.
Hart goes to the 28. It'll be 3rd down and 2. We asked Mike Hart yesterday, does that win against Notre Dame last week expunge the memory of the 7-5 season of last year? Mike Hart's been one of those guys who's written 7-5 on his notebooks for motivation. Every time he's had trouble finishing a weight lift, he's repeated 7-5. He said, hey, we could still go 7-5 this year. We really haven't accomplished anything in terms of our goals as of yet. 3rd down and 2, 4 minutes to go till halftime. And he faked it to Hart. Doesn't have anybody open and had to throw it away. And the Wisconsin defense holds. It has been a very pesky unit for Brett Bielema. As a matter of fact, the touchdown by Manningham, the first given up by the Wisconsin defense since the 3rd quarter of their opener against Bowling Green. But you wondered if it was a product of the competition. I think today that group is demonstrating, Chris, they can play against one of the best offenses in the country.
When they're able to match up so far, and they're winning the battles out of corner, even though Manningham made a great catch on the touchdown, Alan Langford had pretty darn good coverage. It's a battle. This game is a battle.
Zoltan Mesko to punt. Zach Hampton back forth. A boomer. He has a great leg. It drives Hampton back to the 16. He muffed it. And Michigan recovers at the 15-yard line. "56-yard punt. Hampton, ordinarily very sure-handed, could not field it. And Turner Booth recovered for Michigan.
Yeah, and you'll watch a great hustle play by Darnell Hood. Get down there, being double teamed, not to be deterred. Finishes off Zach Hampton, who tried to pick it up. And when you have guys that want to play special teams, especially at that gunner position, and come in and finish the play, that'll win you ball games. Darnell Hood, great job, Darnell.
And a rare mistake by Hampton. Standout special teams player. Special teams have given Michigan great field position on a couple of occasions. The punt return by Breston set up their first touchdown. Now the offense trying to capitalize on 1st and 10 from inside the 18. Mike Hart didn't go anywhere. Jonathan Casillas made the tackle. And when we spoke with Brett Bielema during the week, Chris, he said, being the underdog, going in to play this outstanding Michigan team, we have to win special teams. They're not winning special teams today.
No, not on that play. And I'll tell you, you got to be able to secure the football. It's #1 rule. Zach Hampton took his eyes off the ball, but I can't overemphasize enough. When you have a gunner that's double team, beats the double team, that's on the punt return. Two guys that are out there blocking the gunner as much as on the punt returner and Zach Hampton. They didn't do their job, so Hampton couldn't do his job.
Henny on 2nd down in the flat to the tight end Mike Massey. Out of bounds at the 14. Gain of 4. They'll need 6 more for a 1st down.
It's an interesting competition going on between the big pants down there. I mean, those guys are battling it, and it's 50-50 right now. I'll tell you, Michigan's O-line is winning some, but that young Wisconsin defensive line, to me, Sean, have answered the bell and answered the challenge quite nicely today.
That's a veteran offensive line they're going up against. 3 fifth-year senior starters and Jake Long, along with the new starter Alex Mitchell at guard. Henny with time, still time, and throws it away. That time the O-line won the battle, but the receivers couldn't get open. A field goal try for Michigan.
Well, people might say a bad throw by Chad Henne. I say a good throw and a good decision, because Langford was on coverage pretty tight. And if he tried to squeeze that one in there, that's one of those that can go the distance. Made the good decision to give his team to get some points. Where? In the red zone for the Wolverines.
Garrett Rivas, 31-yard try, 6 out of 7 this year. Had one blocked against Vanderbilt in the opener. This to tie the game with under 3 to go in the half. It's 10 apiece. Well, the special teams have set up all 10 Michigan points. And we check in with the always special Reese Davis.
Thanks for the prop, Sean. Coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, my special guests will be Lou Holtz and Mark May. We'll break down the Big Ten, where there's one stunner going on. Colorado and Georgia, one shutout streak is alive, not the one you'd probably expect. And the U.S. suffering plenty of Ryder Cup woes. We'll talk about all of that coming up at halftime. Mark and Lou will join me. You guys continue and finish a special first half.
Well, it has been special, despite the prediction of one Lee Corso just before we came on the air. Said this would be a boring game. It's been anything but.
You know, I can tell it's the start of the Big Ten, and 2 Big Ten teams are in their first game. Why? Because through these headphones and through this sea of maze and noise, I hear pads and helmets cracking, man, and it's like music to my ears. It's beautiful.
Ross Ryan to kick off. He particularly enjoyed last week's win at Notre Dame. His dad played at Notre Dame, KC. He wanted to go to Notre Dame, did not get in despite being almost a 4.0 student. So he walked on in Michigan with an eye toward beating the Irish, and that's what happened last week. Josh Nettles runs the kickoff to the 16. Tonight, number 5, Florida in action. It's college football prime time, 7:45 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Kentucky trying to end its 19-game losing streak head-to-head against the Gators. Chris Leak, the nation's leader with 10 touchdown passes, an early Heisman candidate. You can see him in action tonight. There's Mike Hart emerging as a Heisman hopeful here in Michigan. Said when we visited yesterday, he hadn't given that 1 minute of thought. And if he keeps playing as he has this year, other people will do that thinking for him. See how the Badgers play it with 2 timeouts left. Terrence Taylor takes down P.J. Hill. Neither team of a mind to stop the clock, and now Michigan will. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. 2:09 to go till halftime.
Again, now there's 2 schools of thought here. If you're Wisconsin, do you want to go ahead and try to move the football, or you want to try to make Michigan use their timeouts to stop the clock? And again, I think you have nothing to lose. You're in the ball game, and I know you're on the road, and conventional wisdom tells people, oh, let's just try to get the clock down as much as you can, go in 10-10 tie. But the way Stocko's playing, the way they've been able to have balance running and throwing the football, I say take your shots. John Stocko's 7 for 12 for 97 yards, and the thing I like most is that he's making great decisions. So go ahead, you're on the road, let's take a shot to win this. Now, either or, you can go either way, but you are going to force Michigan to use their timeouts if they keep the ball on the ground.
Well, it was a thriller last year up in Madison, and Stocko was the hero when the game was decided in the final 30 seconds. Barry Alvarez hoping for one last win against Michigan during his final campaign. A quarterback draw recommended by the wide receiver coach Henry Mason. Stocko, not known for his running, surprised the defense and scored for Coach Alvarez, who last year had the dual role of coach and AD. Retired from coaching to concentrate on athletic director duties. Handed the reins to his assistant Brett Bielema. A decision that was made prior to last year and announced. Conservative handoff. P.J. Hill smothered by Will Johnson. The junior from Oakland, Michigan's been in on a couple of big plays. He's a backup. And Michigan uses another timeout. Only 5 seconds off the clock on that play.
Yeah, I check out the film, and I see Michigan, they're all like clones. The defensive linemen, they all can play. They all get off the ball, and they come with reckless abandon. And you have a luxury when you have depth to bring in different guys. Watch Johnson right here. Penetration. Pad level, throws off the blocker and finishes the play. Not giving 1-for-1. That's great football. Why? Because his pads are lower than the offensive line's pads. And when that happens, you will get victory.
Each side discussing strategy. This is potentially, Chris, another situation where the clock restarting after a change of possession could be a factor. Should Michigan stop on this play and use its last timeout, as soon as the punt returner is down, the ball's reset, they'll wind the clock, so that offense may want to be ready to go and run quickly up to the ball.
Excellent point. And Coach Carr has worked on that in practice. I remember sitting in the meetings with him. He said, Chris and Sean, I've went through every possible scenario on the best way to handle these new clock rules, and one would certainly have that offense color up, play called, run on the field, run play.
A lot of the coaches critical of the timing changes. Lloyd Carr says, I like it. I just think at the end of the ball game, they should go back to the old way, the last 4 minutes or so.
I concur.
And I do too. P.J. Hill, the lone back. 3rd and 13, they'll throw. Stocko got stuck, got the throw off. Caught by Travis Beckham, a tight end. Brandon Engelman made the tackle, but that was a big catch because it does force Michigan to use its last timeout. After a gain of 7, the ever dangerous Breston lingering on the horizon.
If I'm Wisconsin and I have confidence in my punter, Sean, I tell him to directional kick to give Stevie one half of the field. But I do not kick it down the middle of the field, give him a two-way go. He's too much of a danger to let him have the ball in his hands. He's got a little confidence so far today. He has a good game going and returning the football.
Brett Bielema certainly seems like he has made a very easy transition to head coach. Very in command. Chad Henne in that offense, ready to run on. Of course, Brett Bielema has studied in recent years under some of the best. Only 36 years old, but when you've coached under Hayden Fry and Bill Snyder and Kirk Ferentz and Barry Alvarez, you had to learn something along the way.
Yeah, I've sat in the office with Brett and talked football with him numerous times, and not just the fact that he knows the defensive side of the game, Sean, that's a given, but I was amazed at his knowledge of the offense as far as everything goes. Most defensive coordinators like that, but his attention to detail at least by my noticing him and watching him work, was admirable. Great attention to detail.
Was the youngest coach in the country until the tragic death of Randy Walker at Northwestern led to the elevation of Pat Fitzgerald. DeBush does send it in the direction of Preston. A booming punt back to the 29. The Badgers are there, and they get him down. James Kamoku, the first man down. 52-yard punt, -1 on the return. Elijah Hodge finished off Preston. Hodge was not expected to play. He was suspended earlier in the week for a disciplinary violation, then was reinstated pending further investigation into exactly what it was that Hodge did.
Good job of coaching on both units.
Yep, offense ready to go. Clock runs, but it only ran for about 3 or 4 seconds before Henny got the snap. His pass batted down. It is caught by Reuben Riley.
Actually, that's a great decision by Reuben Riley to go down, because the big fellas aren't used to carrying the ball, and anytime you see a big offensive lineman, you don't go to tackle him, you go to strip the ball. I say great decision, Reuben.
Rick Hayden got his hand on the pass. The big junior from Heartland, Wisconsin. And he has a man open. It's Adrian Arrington. His third catch, the new single game career best for the junior from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Third down at the 31-yard line. 3rd and 7. Now you wonder if Wisconsin stops Michigan here. Will the Badgers use a timeout? One of the two they have left.
I think absolutely you got to use a timeout again. You don't want to play things too close to the vest. Let her hang, man. Let her hang. Let's roll.
3 wide receivers. Steve Breaston, the motion man. Mike Hart, the lone back. And he just got the throw off. They don't need to use the timeout. The play goes out of bounds.
See, they're not threatening Wisconsin down the field at all. And so the DBs are just sitting there, and ready to jump routes because there's no threat down the field.
Well, they charged Wisconsin with a timeout. Apparently, they called for the timeout, not realizing the runner had gone out of bounds. Well, we talked about his youth and studying under some good coaches, but that might have been a youthful mistake, unless they did not give Wisconsin the push out of bounds. They said his forward progress was stopped inbounds, but I don't think that's the way it was.
See, Breaston's in there. He's out of bounds. Okay, stop the clock. Oh, see, I think somebody got in his ear. Timeout, timeout.
No, you can see,
him say, no, timeout.
Telling him no. Yep, that is a mistake.
Yeah, and he knows it.
Yep.
And he'll learn from it. The thing about him, he doesn't have an ego, Sean. I mean, a lot of guys in his position, 36 years old, coaching a Big Ten football team, recognized around the country as a brilliant guy. He makes mistakes, and he can laugh at himself. I think he gave himself a little chuckle there.
Ross Ryan will punt this time. Well, it's easy to be humble. He grew up on a hog farm in a small town, Prophetstown, Illinois, out in northwest Illinois. Learned the lessons of hard work on the farm, tending to about 2,500 hogs. Walked on at Iowa, earned a scholarship, earned a starting role, earned a captaincy by the time his career was over for the Hawkeyes. Hampton, a fair catch, fielded cleanly at the 33. That timeout could be a big difference. They would have had 2. Instead, they have 1. 54 seconds to go till halftime after a 35-yard boot by Ryan.
It's easier to make a decision. You're 30 yards away from possible field goal. You get on, try to take your shots. Take a couple shots and see what you have. Michigan doesn't have any timeouts, so if you decide to run it, then run it. But see what you have the first couple plays.
Hill the lone back. Michigan showing blitz. They do blitz. Stocco has time, has a receiver. It's Travis Beckham. Wisely goes out of bounds near the 50-yard line. 35 seconds to go till halftime. Morgan Trent ran him out. 16 yards on the completion to Beckham, who's made a position change this year. He was a former defensive lineman, but they lost 2 great tight ends to the NFL off their team of a year ago.
When you blitz, you're vulnerable, especially when you're able to have blitz control by the offense, where the receivers know where they're going and the backs can pick up the blitz. Well executed by Wisconsin.
On their own 49. Stocko with a nice pocket, throws it way too high for Hubbard. 30 seconds left in the half. Leon Hall had the coverage on Hubbard. Hubbard, a long jump champ in 2003 in the Big Ten, both indoor and outdoor track season.
John Stocko seems to have a comfort level with this offense and Paul Christ. He likes his wide receiver.
3 first-year starters on that offensive line. They've done a pretty good job giving him time. Again, the Wolverines showing blitz. But they rush 4. Stocko dumps it off again for Hill. He's short of the first down. The clock is running. 44-yard line, the spot. They need to do something. And finally, they used their last timeout, but they let some valuable seconds tick off. David Harris made the tackle, and now you know Brett Bielema is really kicking himself about using that unnecessary timeout a moment ago. They're not yet in Melhoff's field goal range. His career long is 46, but he did try a 55-yarder last week against San Diego State. Saturday Night Football on ABC. A couple of fantastic regional matchups tonight. Most of you will see Michigan State hosting Notre Dame. The Irish looking to rebound. Others get number 3 USC at Arizona. Those of you on the West Coast will watch Notre Dame, Michigan State on ESPN2. Saturday Night Football is presented by Southwest Airlines. 8 Eastern time on ABC. College football lives here.
According to Scouts Inc. on ESPN, you look at that game tonight, the top 2 rated senior quarterbacks coming out eligible for next year's draft, and Brady Quinn and Drew Stanton. Interesting enough for me to watch. Drew Stanton's a double threat, man. He can run the ball, and he's improved so much as a passer. We'll see if Brady can bounce back from the beat down that the Wolverine defense gave him last week.
3rd down and 3 for John Stocko from the Michigan 44-yard line. No timeouts left for either team.
It's Luke Swan. That's the comfort level with John Stocko.
Four-man rush. Stocko off his back foot over the head of Swan. And they are trying to build up that comfort level. We mentioned the new wide receiving core. And a lot of the time they would have spent together in the preseason went away because Stocko had arthroscopic knee surgery on August 11th and did not return to practice until just before the opener. So that was a lot of valuable time that they were not able to spend together.
If you're Michigan now, you don't want to put any pressure on this punter. You don't want to get a penalty. Give Wisconsin an opportunity. Just play it safe.
5th punt for Ken DeBush. Hangs it very high. And good effort by Ben Strickland, but he couldn't down it. Bounced a little bit too high. And went into the end zone. And it probably won't matter because, again, when they reset the ball and the official deems they're ready to go, the clock is going to run out. Michigan doesn't even have to snap it again.
Now, Strickland does a great job of field awareness. Know where he is. Get set. Whoop, I forgot the ball. Keep your eyes on it. Rules don't change.
And that's the end of the half. Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines ranked number 6 off their win last week at Notre Dame in a real tussle, and they knew they would get one from 3-0 Wisconsin. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Coach, how do you assess your end of first halftime management?
Well, we talked to our kids about coming here and playing. They're doing that in the first 2 quarters. The great thing is we got 2 more to go.
You're avoiding my question. Good job. Hey, you had some questionable calls go against you. How do you manage the officials from that point on?
The thing is, our guys are going to go out there and play. We can't control what they're doing. All we're trying to do is win a game, and we just got to go out and execute.
I know you're also in charge of the punt team. What do you say to them in the locker room?
Well, we got to get our guys downfield. They hit the one big return, but it was, a call got pulled back off of that one, too. So I think that's his first time in the big house as well.
Coach, appreciate your time.
We love you, man.
Trying to be just the 2nd Wisconsin coach since 1919 to start out 4-0. 10-10 at the half. Reese, Mark, and Lou with the Pontiac Performance halftime report.
Sean, thank you very much. Bielema a little wound up, and you know Frank Beamer might be a little wound up in the locker room at Lane Stadium. Cincinnati and Virginia Tech, 4th and 7, and the Hokies have found that punt block magic again. Josh Morgan blocking one out of the back of the end zone for a safety. 2-0 Hokies, 4th block kick of the year, 3rd block punt of the year for the Hokies. But Cincinnati marching back, the 225-pounder Greg Moore going in. Cincinnati took the lead. They got another turnover and converted it into a field goal. And the Bearcats, who had a lead on Ohio State for a while for Mark D'Antonio, now up 10-5 at the half. It's on ESPNU. Well, Lou, you mentioned it. What a feather in the cap of the Big East if they can pull this upset, huh?
If the Big East can beat the ACC and particularly Virginia Tech, that'd be a huge.
And particularly considering Virginia Tech left to go to the ACC. But there's a long way to go. But it is that kind of Saturday. You got to try to avoid the letdown. Louisville made a bad mistake early against K-State. We'll show you how they rebounded from it.
The Pontiac Performance Halftime Report is powered by Pontiac. Vote for this week's Pontiac game-changing performance. Go to ESPN.com, keyword Pontiac.
Led by Warwick Dunn and Michael Vick, the Falcons are off to a great running start. But they will take a back seat, not to 2-0 Reggie Bush, Drew Brees, and the Saints, but to New Orleans. 13 months after Katrina, the Superdome reopens at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
And the first official event in the Dome last night. Saints had a little walkthrough, getting used to the new turf, getting used to the lighting. Here's Drew Brees.
Get that cell phone off the field. Get ready for practice.
Is that a rookie fine for Reggie Bush?
Fine.
Joe Horn, no cell phone, oddly enough, strange as that may seem. North Carolina and Clemson. Oh, if you're not ready to give 110%, keep your filthy hands off my rock. James Davis carries the rock, Lou.
Well, it's obvious North Carolina didn't touch the rock at all because they just got manhandled here.
Here's Davis again. I want to throw a stat at you, Mark. How do you like this? Clemson has 197 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. North Carolina has 2 rushing yards. How about C.J. Spiller?
Oh, what a wonderful going left. Following his blockers, the freshman does an outstanding job of being patient with the football.
There is Ralphie. Ralphie, Mark, as you might remember, is a female.
The power of Ralphina.
On Wednesday, they loaded Ralphie up in a trailer, carried her across the country, 1,500 miles or so, to see Colorado and Georgia. Now, originally, not because of the treatment or the travel, one would think that PETA might lodge a complaint by making Ralphie watch Colorado play based on the way they've started the season. But Ralphie with split hooves so that she doesn't mess up the turf between the hedges, running out there to lead the Buffs, and apparently has inspired Colorado. Georgia had pitched 2 straight shutouts. Colorado's up 10-0 behind Bernard Jackson.
And not only are they up 10-0, they've dominated the game on both sides of the ball.
No question about that. That would be the stunner of the day. This is New Hampshire and Dartmouth, and that is David Ball. The significance of these touchdowns, 3 of them for Ball on touchdown catches on the day. He has now tied Jerry Rice for the 1AA record with 50 touchdown catches in his career. That's tied for the 1AA record. It also matches the Division 1A record held by Troy Edwards. So the very next touchdown catch he has, and nobody in the history of Division I football will have more touchdown catches than David Ball. Jerry Rice, recently enshrined at the College Football Hall of Fame. Connection with Willie Satellite Totten of the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State. 50 touchdown catches, and David Ball of New Hampshire, and their rout over Dartmouth right now has matched Jerry Rice. Quite a bit of company to be keeping. Chad Henne, meanwhile, hoped to get another touchdown pass. He had one early in the first half, but not there. Henne picked off. Wisconsin's hanging tough. They're locked up at 10 at the break.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you know what this light switch does?
Which one?
The one on the right.
I never used that one.
All right, will you look?
Yep.
On, off, on.
No.
Are you looking?
Yes.
Off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off.
Life comes at you fast. When it does, nobody covers your car like Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side.
Looking for something.
Where's the gold?
I got tired of people taking it. So I got a Visa check card. And if this gets stolen, I'm not liable for any fraudulent charges. And I get all that money back.
Give me it.
No.
Give me the card.
No. Oh, look, a unicorn.
The Visa check card. Safer, better money. Life takes Visa.
Check this out. Every day, Progressive does something that's, well, progressive. They have this ticker that shows their car insurance rates and their top competitors. Right now on Progressive.com, you can see actual rates that people are getting. Sometimes Progressive is the lowest. Sometimes they're not. Hey, if they're this helpful when you're shopping for car insurance, imagine how they'll be once you're a customer.
In a fiercely competitive automotive world, one company has taken the lead with American innovation. Ford. With 500, the safest car in its class. Fusion, J.D. Power's most appealing midsize car. Focus, 37 miles per gallon starting at under $14,000. And the legendary Ford Mustang. Now get low 0% financing for 60 months on most 2006 cars, trucks, and SUVs. Ford. Bold moves.
Come on, baby, let's go.
The Pontiac Performance Halftime Report is powered by Pontiac. Vote for this week's Pontiac game-changing performance. Go to ESPN.com, keyword Pontiac.
Nominees for the Pontiac game-changing performance you will see on College Football Final, powered by Pontiac, midnight Eastern time tonight. We'll show you the nominees for the Pontiac game-changing performance. ESPN.com, search Pontiac to cast your vote. Winning school gets $5,000 in the General Scholarship Fund. You can register for a chance to win a $5,000 scholarship for you or a family member. Do it all there at ESPN.com. Day 2 of the Ryder Cup. Here are the 4-ball competition, and you see Darren Clark and Lee Westwood knocking off Tiger again. Tiger and Jim Furyk. Clark finished this match by chipping in from the rough. They defeat them 3-2. Sergio and Jose Maria Olazabal taking down Phil Mickelson and Chris DeMarco by a similar score. Scott Verplank, young Zach Johnson trying to keep the United States afloat, and the overall standings at the moment, Europe in control. They have 10 points to 6 for the United States. 14 would clinch the Ryder Cup victory for the Europeans, and up to this point, Europe has been able to dominate on home soil. Virginia Tech and Cincinnati, a 10-5 Bearcat lead at the half, but Sean Glennon coming back and going up top. Been a great catch by Justin Harper down there, perhaps creating a little separation. He's a week late from separation Saturday, but he got the separation from the DB. The Hokie High on ESPNU has now taken a 12-10 lead over D'Antonio's Bearcats. First half of this game, what about P.J. Hill?
The Wisconsin Winnebago, 5'11", 242. Look at him go. Keep those legs low and chugging into the end zone.
If you haven't discovered the miracle of fusion, it's time you did. Gillette Fusion. Until now, pressure caused irritation. Fusion has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure, with less irritation and more comfort. Flip Fusion over. A precision trimmer for those tricky places. The comfort of 5 blades, plus the precision of 1. The best shave ever in manual and battery powered. Gillette guarantees it or your money back. Gillette Fusion.
We know responsibility is a round-the-clock job, but if your home is ever damaged by fire, we have help standing by 24 hours a day. Responsibility. What's your policy? Liberty Mutual.
Setting down 9 from their own 35. Yes, so the 9 is their own.
Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here.
Every week we honor the Singular All-America Player of the Week, and you can make your voice heard. All you have to do is text VOTE to 87654 on your Singular wireless phone. Not only do you cast your vote, but you might be able to win yourself a trip to the national championship game in January.
All right, thank you, Reese, and welcome back, everybody, to the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Just about ready for the start of the second half. Wisconsin and Michigan tied at 10. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman. Each team is 3-0. We know Michigan beat Notre Dame. We didn't know what to make of Wisconsin, and they're 3-0. What do you think now?
Well, I'm not surprised because it's the Big Ten, and anytime you have the opener in the Big Ten and you have a team that's had success like Wisconsin against Michigan, you expected a brawl, and that's exactly what we have is a barroom brawl right here. They're slugging it out. It's been a great first half so far.
Ross Ryan will kick off for Michigan. Wisconsin will get the ball first to begin the second half. Comes down to Josh Nettles. And he goes down at the 18-yard line. Tackled by Darnell Hood with a big special teams play in the first half. The big defensive play by Alan Langford of Wisconsin on Michigan's first possession that set up the game's first score. 29-yard pass, catch and run. John Stocco to P.J. Hill, who wanted to deliver a hit on the way into the end zone. Mario Manningham, the touchdown man again. 3 last week against Notre Dame, the only Michigan touchdown of the first half. Each team kicked the field goal. We're tied at 10. Stats very even in the first half.
Each defense has been able to neutralize the running game of each offense.
Stocco intent again to dump it off, and this time he couldn't find P.J. Hill. Stocco now 10 for 18, 127 yards and a touchdown. Was sacked twice, but they rushed for only 8 yards in the first half against this Michigan defense that's given up 21 yards per game rushing.
What we're starting to see happen is that the Michigan defensive backs are sitting on the routes, and until you're able to at least have the threat of the ball thrown down the field, it's going to be tough to move the ball in this Michigan defense because of their stout run defense.
On the delay to Hill. Prescott Burgess wraps him up at the 22, perhaps the 23. Hill rushed for 37 yards in the first half. Both he and Mike Hart came into this one having rushed for 100 yards or more in every game this season. They will both have a lot of work to do here in the second half to get there.
Wisconsin has had relative success with crossing routes underneath, confusing the linebackers and underneath coverage of Michigan. Let's see if they go back to it.
Hill the lone back on 3rd down and 6. Stocco with a lot of time, running out of time. Almost lost the ball as Branch nearly stripped him. Now has to throw, and it's incomplete in the general direction of Andy Crooks. Well, you see it there. These inexperienced wide receivers and the inability to get open despite all kinds of time to do so.
Yeah, give credit to the offensive line of Wisconsin and the effort of the Michigan defensive line, Sean, but you're right. There's no separation from any receiver downfield, tight ends and backs included, from the back 7 of the Michigan Wolverine defense. Thus, you're making Stocco get rid of the football, throw it out.
Ken DeBush to punt for the 6th time. He's averaged 47 yards per punt. It's another good one. A fair catch signaled by Breston. He had plenty of room. We'd like to have that one back. 48-yard punt, and now a flag thrown for some extracurriculars, perhaps, at the end of the play.
Yeah, Zach Hampton was being held by Charles Stewart, and Zach Hampton had enough, turned around and held Charles Stewart. And by the way, while he was holding him, he threw him down. But they could have called holding.
It's been a very tough day already for Hampton. He muffed the punt in the first half.
Over. There was a dead ball, personal foul, late hit on number 23 from the kicking team. 15 yards from the spot to foul. First down.
Watch Charles Stewart. Charles Stewart has his claws gripped on Zach Hampton. Zach Hampton said, I had enough. Throwing you out.
it's me, Evelyn, and it's my 7th day with Prilosec OTC. Never thought I'd last through race week with my frequent heartburn. But with Prilosec OTC, I'm good to go. Day 2, got the party started. Day 5 met my man Jeff Burton. Today, 200 laps and 0 heartburn. Imagine 0 heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. That's my Prilosec OTC. It's day 7 for me. What day are you on?
Junior, now that you're selling yourself for $1, you're going to meet a lot of girls.
What?
Here, take this.
What's this?
It's an extra napkin. Put it in your wallet.
Thanks, Dr. Love.
Whopper Jr. for $1. Bringing some attitude to the BK value menu.
Introducing Gillette Fusion. On the front, 5 blades, and on the back, the first ever precision trimmer, perfect for under the nose, straightening sideburns, and around facial hair. The best shave ever. In manual and battery power. Gillette Fusion.
Okay, we've got a break in the action.
Oh, good. I can play the Grand Slam quiz.
You like these, don't you?
Yeah, as long as there's no math.
Not likely. Okay, which company do more drivers go with and stay with?
Well, the biggest one.
I think they're looking for something a bit more specific.
Okay, not that one. Definitely not that one. Or that one. I'm going to go with State Farm.
Gee, Bob, how'd you know?
Oh, it's a no-brainer.
Your specialty.
Well, thank you.
Got everything?
Yeah.
Any bags today?
Not today.
Computers, cell phones, electronic devices. Have your bags, please.
Mr. Smith. Yes. Luggage. No. Hello. Got it.
Do you have everything?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get started.
With Microsoft software, you've got what you need in the palm of your hand.
Does it make phone calls too?
Well, again, problems with the punt unit for Wisconsin. This time a penalty by Zach Hampton that again drew the ire of Britt Bielema during the timeout. He was jawing with the officials for most of that timeout. It sets Michigan up with great field position at their own 45. Mike Hart, a rush for 49 yards in the first half, gets a couple. Let's look back at what you missed during the commercial.
See Brett right there, he's imitating Charles Stewart, the defensive back right here for Michigan. Now watch what happens. See, Charles Stewart does a good job, hands inside, but he has him held. Zach Hampton can't get away. They let the hold go. Just let the play go.
And you can see the official in the screen was just stopping the play too as Hampton threw him down with the arms up over his head. So it wasn't like it was all that late either. Would have seemed to have been a play on, but not in the judgment of the officiating crew. Henny's pass deflected, batted around. They had about 3 shots to intercept it and could not. Roderick Rogers right there, the safety, but couldn't haul it in. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, that's the problem with Michigan right now is their inconsistency of the wide receivers. This is a, dare I say, dart by Chad Henry. Chad Henne right in the hands of Stevie Breaston. And again, Mario Manningham is victimized by his hands. Right there, a big play opportunity for Michigan. Stevie Breaston victimized by his hands. But people been getting on Chad Henne about 54% completion. You got to make those catches.
And a lot of talk here about the lack of a go-to receiver. Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator, says usually the coverage dictates who you go to. He's not particularly worried about somebody stepping forward. Thinks they have a number of players who can. That's short of the first down. So completion, but Tyler Ecker, the tight end, out of bounds at the 49 of Wisconsin, still 4 yards short of the first down.
Yeah, and let it be noted that Wisconsin had an opportunity for a turnover in field position right there. Something that they desperately need since their offense has been stalled by the great Michigan defense.
We spoke with Mike DeBoer yesterday, said, where would you like your offense to get better? One of the first things he mentioned was 3rd down conversions. Like to be 45% or better. They're 0 for 8 today. And the Henne interception that led to the touchdown to Wisconsin was on a 3rd down play. Not a good punt by Ross Ryan, and using the Bellotta ball, a lot of backspin. Went to the sandwich. He needed a 5-iron. 17-yard punt. Great field position for Wisconsin, at least better than they expected.
Saturday, nothing to complain about unless you're working, in which case we hope you're complaining. But cheer up, because it's only 2 days till the Saints head home to the Superdome to face the Falcons at 8:30 on Monday Night Football.
ESPN College Game Day. Saturdays now starting at 10 a.m.
They say you can't control the weather. They say you can't control road conditions. And they say you can't get an affordable car that's safe. The new Subaru Impreza, the only car in its class with all-wheel drive and the highest crash test rating. Nicely equipped at less than 18 grand.
Clear your inbox, clear your mind. The same email that's on your computer is now on your singular phone with one simple click. It's your email delivered. Get the new email-ready Nokia phone for only $29.99. Singular, raising the bar.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Mercury and your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. Allstate, are you in good hands? And the Taco Bell Big Bell Value Menu. Think outside the bun.
One of Ann Arbor's best-known food establishments, Zingerman's Deli. You have to have an appetite like Chris Spielman if you head in there. Look at the size of those sandwiches. Great cheeses, meats, breads.
Yeah. Where's the beef? Apparently it's at Zingerman's.
From the 33-yard line, 1st and 10, Wisconsin. 10-10 game. Opening moments of the third quarter. John Stocco, 22-6 in his career as a starting quarterback, trying to lead them to back-to-back wins over Michigan. P.J. Hill falls forward near the 39, a quality run on first down. Leon Hall made the tackle. The senior from the San Diego area, All-American candidate. Ron English, the defensive coordinator, said he was pretty mediocre this year until last week when he had a big ball game at Notre Dame.
He played well, and I think he's steady. He's as steady as it gets back there. But you see again the strength of P.J. Hill. Leon hit him about 3 yards. P.J. got 6.
They stick with Hill. Trying to follow the fullback, Bill Rentmeester. And Alan Branch made the tackle at the 39. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Alan Branch is in a class by himself as far as defensive tackles go in college football, Sean. At his size of 330 pounds and his knowledge of the inside game, he's a great football player that continues to get better. And I mean great.
Three straight carries for Hill. And he's very close to the first down. Leon Hall came up and met him helmet to helmet. And where that official is spotting the ball short of that yellow line, it doesn't look like they're going to give him the necessary yardage. No, they're half a yard short with where they spotted the ball. Brett Bielema will want some measurement.
Again, there's Leon Hall. Look at that. No shyness from Leon Hall. That's a good spot.
Yep, his knee was down. Ball wound up going across the yellow line, but well after the knee was down, it was a good spot.
We don't see linebackers tackle like Leon Hall. That takes courage to take 240, and you're 195 pounds like Leon Hall, and put your face on him, hit him high. Giving one up for the team, Leon. Nice job, Leon.
Lloyd Carr says he fits the mold of the great quarterbacks here at Michigan alongside Charles Woodson and Ty Law. Flag thrown. I don't think they got the punt off in time.
Delay of game on the offense.
5-yard penalty.
We spent a lot of time wondering if it was going to be a first down. So the punt group, both punting and receiving punts, has been a borderline disaster today for Wisconsin, despite the fact that DeBusch has punted for a good average.
Yeah, and actually they got a break there because DeBusch caught a flyer. You know, we're in Ryder Cup time. He caught a flyer out of the rough there and knocked one in the end zone. He gets another opportunity to hang one high.
Preston waiting back near his own 20. Low line drive punt. Very returnable for Preston. And a nice run back to the 34-yard line. Joe Stellmacher made the tackle. 42-yard punt, 13-yard return. College football presented by Cars.com here on ESPN. Big Ten season opener for Wisconsin and Michigan. Both come in at 3-0 in non-conference play. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, and Rob Stone. Our producer Bart Fox, our director Bruce Troit, our terrific ESPN noon Eastern time crew. Delighted to have you with us from the big house. Smell of football in the air. Hart, the ball carrier, Jonathan Casillas, made the tackle at the 39-yard line. You pay a visit to the deli this morning, did you?
I'd eat there anytime.
Fairly
Get your
so.
money's worth.
That's obvious to most of us who are in the booth. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Play action fake. Chad Henne to Mike Hart.
That's a shot.
Good catch in traffic by Mario Manningham. Jack Iguano draped on him. Manningham, a 14-yard reception. He certainly is their big playmaker down the field at wide receiver.
It's a nice route coming back to the ball, and a big reason for Chad Henne's improvement in his accuracy is that in practice he visualizes tight coverage, which allows him to make the confidence to make that throw. And a good job of Mario Manningham coming back for the ball as opposed to staying and let it come to him.
Manningham has the Michigan touchdown, a 24-yarder. All but one of his 11 career touchdown receptions now have been 20 yards or longer. The only one shorter was the game winner in the last seconds against Penn State last year. Hart, the carrier, Zalewski, the tackler. No gain. Here's Reese.
Sean, Minnesota and Purdue and the Boilermakers' defensive statistics have been horrific, with their D's hanging in there, and then little cherry picker type Statue of Liberty looking play for Jason Taylor to go 14 yards there for Joe Tiller's team, and the Boilermakers up 17-7. That's on ESPN2 halfway through the third, and Cincinnati's kicked a field goal. They're up on Virginia Tech late in the third quarter.
And tight battles all over the country, including a 10-10 tie here. Screen for Hart. Patiently waited for some good blocks and has a first down to the 35-yard line. Joe Stellmacher made the tackle. 12-yard gain.
It's a good job.
Alex Mitchell, a good block. He lost his helmet.
By Mike DeBoer to get Mike Hart involved in the offense. Besides running the football, they set up the screen. Watch Mark Beal, number 54, the center, coming in, knocking Zalewski out there, not allowing him to make the play and get Hart in open field. Good job of the offensive line, getting out and get one-on-one blocks on linebackers. That's tough duty. They executed it well.
Lloyd Carr says Hart is one of the best football players he's ever coached. The total package of running back. Runs, receives, blocks, a great team leader. Got nothing there. Flying up Mark Zalewski, the linebacker. Hart led the team through much of the summer in workouts. They felt one of the reasons they underachieved last year, they were in poor shape. Usually when they lose, it's because they don't get big numbers from Hart. See the differential in his career. And this is a Michigan program that paid much more attention to conditioning the offseason. Hart among those, leading some team runs on the nearby golf course right across the street early in the morning. A lot of the players we talked to yesterday said Wisconsin dominated us in the fourth quarter because we were worn down. They don't expect that to happen today. Henne to the end zone, and it is intercepted. Second of the day for Alan Langford.
That's the first poor decision that Chad Henne has made all day. nowhere to go with the ball. And if you're going to throw it in the end zone and throw a jump ball, make sure the #1 rule. If you're long, you're never wrong. Well, here you're short, and Langford does a good job of looking and leaning and becoming a wide receiver and defending off Mario Manningham.
Happy homecoming for Langford, the sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, with 2 interceptions today.
What exactly is a sport utility wagon? It handles rugged terrain like an SUV. It tows like an SUV. But at 28 miles per gallon highway, it sips gas like a Subaru. The new Subaru Outback Sport Utility Wagon with road-gripping all-wheel drive and better fuel economy than any midsize SUV, starting under $22,000.
It's your fight. It's your time. This is your moment in life.
The Contender 2 hours season finale, Tuesday 10 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN.
Buffalo Wild Wings, you have to be here.
The Rocky Outdoor Gear Store is proud to be a part of the Timber and Outdoor Show October the 6th through the 8th. New this year is the Extreme ATV Challenge on the 7th at 6:30. You won't want to miss the awesome track set up by the folks at Fast Tracks. Register at the Rocky Store now to win this 250 Arctic Cat being provided by All Power Equipment, with 2 locations to serve you better, Athens and Lancaster. They've got all your equipment needs for work or play. Also, stop by the Rocky tent at the show for some great deals.
This game is being broadcast in high definition on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Plasma Displays. 2 teams among the nation's best statistically coming in on defense. They're backing that up today. A couple of interceptions thrown by Henne. A concerned Lloyd Carr, the 61-year-old head coach, patrolling the sideline for Michigan. First and 10, Wisconsin, 6:10 to go, third quarter. Healthy dose of P.J. Hill here in the second half. Sean Crable took him down as the senior. Crable, a stalwart of this defense last year. Thought to be a big underachiever, a highly touted recruit coming out of Massillon, Ohio. Lloyd Carr sat down with him last year, put transfer papers on the table, said, if you want to transfer, I'll sign the papers, you can get out of here. But if you're going to stay, you're going to make more of a commitment to being the kind of football player you can be. He got the message, and he's been a terrific player so far this year.
He adds speed to that defense and size at 240 pounds, 6'5".
Stocko's pass tipped to the line, intended for Paul Hubbard, but it fluttered incomplete. Charles Stewart had the coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Wisconsin has to start throwing the ball on 1st down a little bit more, Sean. I mean, they're starting to be an open book up here where you can read the run, try to short pass, get a manageable 3rd down. But the Michigan secondary is playing so tight, they're not threatening. Until you threaten them, you're not going to move the football against this defense. They're too fast and too good.
On 3rd down and 8, a blitz. The pass deflected again and nearly intercepted. Rondell Biggs got a hand on it. Lamar Woodley went diving for it. And the defenses continue to rule the day, particularly on 3rd down. Stocko started the afternoon 4 for 4. He's 6 for 17 since.
Yeah, and again, when you have pressure in your face, you're not threatened because you don't have time to throw it down the field, but it's 3rd and long. And that's what Michigan just thrives on as far as the front line and their pass rush. 3rd and long, the Irish are back and they are coming.
Bush with his 8th punt, and a good one, very high. Reston doing his thing. Brought it back to the 44. Elijah Hodge, the brother of the great Iowa star Abdul Hodge, now with the Packers, made the tackle. Florida and Kentucky tonight. It's our ESPN college football primetime offering, 7:45 Eastern. Chris Leak and the Gators trying to protect that number 5 ranking against the Kentucky team that has not won in Gainesville since 1979.
Yeah, Florida's got it going on. They have balance. I don't mean run pass. I mean offense and defense. They're a team to be reckoned with.
Field position edge to Michigan, particularly here in the second half. Henne throws a bullet. Ike Iguano had tight coverage, and Manningham still caught it at the 44-yard line of Wisconsin. Good for 12 and a first down.
I'd like the call by Mike DeBoer. Chad Henne comes back with an interception, yet they come back and he's forced to make a throw where only his guy can get it. Low and outside. Good job of Mario going down and digging her out.
Manningham, a cousin of the former Michigan All-American offensive lineman Bubba Paris. 3 touchdowns in the first half to set the tone for their win at Notre Dame last week. Mike Massey, a junior from Brecksville, Ohio, goes to the 39-yard line, banged out of bounds there by Roderick Rogers.
Paul Chryst has to take a little bit of a notebook here and say, well, Michigan hasn't been able to run the ball as effectively as they usually do, so what are they doing? They're throwing it on first down. Little play action. Wisconsin needs to start doing that to loosen up that Michigan defense, just like Michigan has loosened up the Wisconsin defense.
Another lateral. Looks like they might be setting up a pass later from Breston. Crowd wanted a face mask. The officials say no. Alan Langford credited with the tackle. He had him up high, but apparently not by the headgear. The fans are screaming, but nobody on the Michigan sideline jumping up and down, and they had a great view of it, like the official. It's just a shoulder pad grab.
Yeah, he just had him underneath the pads there, and his head jerked around where it looks like a face mask. But usually when a player gets face mask, Sean, the first thing he does when his rear end hits the ground, his hand goes right to his face mask, looking at the official. He had my face mask. He had my face mask. Well, Breston didn't do that.
Apparently these fans need LASIK surgery too. They saw the replay you saw and still groaned, even though it clearly was the shoulder pad and then grabbed by the scruff of the neck.
Timeout. Michigan.
Timeout Michigan with another third down upcoming. They haven't converted on third down yet today. 3:17 to go in the third quarter. No scoring in this half. Michigan trying to go off the 0 for 8 Schneid on third down.
Well, even though they're 0 for 8, I do think they're in 2-down territory right here because they're great field positions, a good defense. They have to get field position to get a scoring opportunity.
Well, we have a moment. Here's Reese.
All right, Sean, Louisville and Kansas State, and that Cardinal defense continues to shut out Ron Prince's team, and a little more breathing room provided by George Stripling, one of the running backs replacing Michael Bush. Hunter Cantwell has performed well. The Ville up by 17 on the road.
Faring well without their quarterback Brian Brom. Here it's 2 veteran quarterbacks, third-year starters. Each struggling to move his offense consistently on a day dominated by defense.
Again, if they don't get it here on third down, I do believe they're in 2-down territory. So Coach Carr is probably telling Mike DeBoer, hey, you got 2 to get 4. 2 downs to get 4 yards.
Hart the lone back. Straight back. Henne has Manningham breaking open. Touchdown, Michigan.
They got 2 interceptions. Alan Langford peeking. Take a look. Right here's a little slant go. Sluggo. Alan Langford got flat-footed. Mario Manningham says, I'll go deep. Hit me, baby. Zach Hampton late on the help. Result, Mario celebrating in the zone.
38-yard touchdown reception. His 5th in the last 2 ball games. All of them from 20 yards or longer. Garrett Rivas the extra point. And Michigan has a 7-point lead. Its largest of the day with 3:11 to go. in the third quarter. Second touchdown pass of the day for Chad Henne. 54th career touchdown pass for the Philadelphia area native. He's third all-time at Michigan behind John Navarre and Elvis Gerbach.
And let it be known that that play came off of a timeout. I'm giving credit to Mike DeBoer for getting what he wanted in. Recognized man coverage. Manningham against Langford with help over top. The help was late by Zach Hampton. Langford fell for the sluggo. Slant and go. Nice little move, stutter step by Manningham to get Langford to sit, and Henne, Dr. Accurate, has been very accurate today. One mistake resulted in a interception. Other times he's been on target. Manningham's been his go-to guy.
Ross Ryan kicks off. Biopsychology major. Wants to go to dental school. Josh Nettles. And outstanding kickoff coverage, this time by the freshman Stevie Brown. Brett Bielema said we have to win special teams. They are losing this game on special teams today.
This is a huge, not to understate huge, series from Wisconsin. Stevie Brown comes up, head up, one step and ramp, two step and squeeze, bring your feet, run through, not two. Exactly what Stevie Brown did.
Deafening noise now. Wisconsin has not had a first down here in the third quarter. Had poor field position throughout this session. And it played very conservatively. That continues with P.J. Hill, who did everything he could and still couldn't get out of the backfield. David Harris leading the defense.
Well, Morgan Trent with an assist there. Well, I'm telling you that you got a 190-pound corner, Morgan Trent, coming up and slowing down P.J. Hill to allow the pursuit of the winged helmets to make the play, led by David Harris, who, by the way, I'm going to agree with Lloyd Carr that this kid does have a chance to be one of the greats in UM linebacker history.
He's one of those players who got himself in better shape. We spoke with Harris yesterday. He said he was down about 11 pounds, 251 last year, 240 this year. He admitted he was one of those players who ran out of gas in the fourth quarter against Wisconsin last year. Timeout, Badgers. A raucous crowd here at the Big House. Sometimes they're referred to as the quietest 110,000 or so. Not today. Here's Rob.
Well, Sean, what in the world do the University of Michigan football program and our own Chris Spielman have in common? They've both been on the cover of Wheaties. Just out this week here in the Midwest region, this special edition package of the Breakfast of Champions, Notre Dame, Georgia.
Are you reading this off the back of the box, Rob?
Notre Dame and Georgia also have one that was sent out here. Now, word is that some of these Wheatie boxes actually made it across the state line into Ohio, where sources have told me Chris Spielman has bought all the boxes and replaced them with his mug from his high school days. What, you didn't have a razor in the Spielman household back then, huh? Looking good with the stash, my friend.
I was imitating REO Speedwagon right there.
And very successfully, you might add.
Wow. That's a blast from the past.
Unfortunately for you, it did not remain in the past. 2nd and 12. Stocco flushed. Throws on the run. Diving attempt incomplete. Paul Hubbard had broken free. It looked like Stocco had a little more time than he realized to set himself and make a better throw.
Yeah, but you got those attack dogs, the front four of Michigan, that just keep coming in waves. That time, Terrence Taylor breaking through. Actually, a pretty good throw by Stocco. He threw it away. And I believe an experienced receiver, maybe Hubbard will make that catch in a few more games. But if you want to come into the Big House and win, you get your hands on the ball, you got to secure that football.
Stocco's 0 for 5 this quarter. 3rd and 12. 4-man rush, but they pressure him, and Stocco throws it away. Well, Alan Branch told Ron English, don't blitz. We can get there with 4. And they've been doing that today. And again, it looked like Stocco had a bit more time. And you get the sense on that Wisconsin sideline that momentum has shifted significantly away from them.
I wouldn't be surprised if I see Michigan come here and try to get one.
DeBush standing in his own end zone.
Timeout, Wisconsin.
Oh, boy. The blows continue. They didn't have enough men on the field.
Let it be known that Brett is the punt team coach.
Well, he should fire himself from that position and get somebody else. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, Clemson is just annihilating North Carolina, and with this touchdown, the 7th rushing touchdown of the day for Clemson. Clemson has more rushing touchdowns than North Carolina has rushing yards. 7-6. The real score is 49-0, and look at this stunner. Colorado up on number 9 Georgia 13-0 in the third quarter. The Buffs just kicked a field goal. It's their first points in the second half this season. Dogs can do nothing on offense. We'll keep an eye on this one for you right now. This could be the stunner of the day, but Virginia Tech's in a scuffle with Cincinnati too. We'll watch both of them for you, Sean.
All right, Reese, some surprising scores indeed. I guess that means when you do the old comparative score thing, Montana State's better than Georgia?
I don't know. But I do know this, that Dan Hawkins is a good football coach, and he'll get that program turned to where it's supposed to go.
Wisconsin down to 1 timeout left now. A bomb by DeBush. He's had plenty of time to warm up. 9 punts. Breston flag down. Breston down 39-yard line. Andy Crooks in on the stop, and again the snapper Steve Johnson down there. 57-yard punt. 7-yard return.
We're going to get a holding on Brandon Logan. Again, blocking behind the ball. Mental error. Don't block behind the ball.
Illegal block in the back above the waist. Number 46. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Led by Warrick Dunn and Michael Vick, the Falcons are off to a great running start. But they will take a back seat, not to 2-0 Reggie Bush, Drew Brees, and the Saints, but to New Orleans. 13 months after Katrina, the Superdome reopens at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
What an emotional night that will be. Not just for the folks in New Orleans, but I think a lot of us who watched that are anticipating being greatly moved by the environment there. Mike Hart, flag down. He's down at the 41. Mock cheer from the crowd. They think the officials finally got a face mask correctly. 13 yards on the run and then more on the end of the run.
Five-yard face mask. Number 17 on the defense. 5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Well, some good and some bad today for Langford. The 2 picks, but he was just beaten for the go-ahead touchdown by Manningham and now called for the face mask.
Well, the reason why Michigan was able to run the ball successfully, the zone blocking, which gives Michael Hart the ability to pick and choose across from tackle to tackle what hole he wants to hit. But they've been throwing the ball on first down, which slows down the blitzing and the run penetration of Wisconsin's defense because of their ability to throw.
Hart taken down by Stellmacher. He got across midfield to the Wisconsin 49. 5 yards. 77 for the game now for Hart, and Nick Hayden limps off. He's the key to that front four, the defensive tackle. Junior. His dad played at Wisconsin Whitewater. When we asked Nick last year on a visit, tell us something interesting about you, he said, well, I like to wrestle my dad, and I've never beaten him yet. Candid admission. A contemporary college athlete. Hart tackled by the backup, Mike Newkirk, who just came in for Hayden.
Sean, going back to that Monday night game, we had the pleasure to have lunch with Mike Tirico yesterday.
Well, pleasurable because he finally picked up the tab.
He did
now
pick
that
up
he's
the
missed
tab.
a big Monday night big shot.
But I think just to sense the excitement in Mike to go down there and be a part of that. And I can think of no better guy to handle those duties. So I can't wait to watch that game.
Mike Tirico is #1. We said that before he paid for the salads. Penny. A failure to convert on 3rd down. The only conversion was on the touchdown pass a moment ago to Manningham. That one was in the direction of Steve Breston. DeAndre Levy had coverage.
You know,
sorry, Chris.
I'd say you sense the opportunity for Michigan to put these boys away, Sean, and they're letting Wisconsin keep hang around. But the defense has been so solid for Michigan. Something drastically has to change for the offense with the W's on the helmet.
And one of the great things about sports, a chance for redemption, and this is a punt group that could really use some redemption here. That Hampton gets out of the way, and it does just barely go into the end zone. Zoltan Mesko handled the punt that time. 49 yards. It'll come out to the 20. We'll go to the 4th quarter after this.
At the end of the 3rd quarter.
The Blitz, tomorrow in SportsCenter at 11 Eastern.
Come on, Birdwood, hurry up.
Energizer E-Squared lithium batteries let you take up to 630 photos in digital cameras versus up to just 90 with leading ordinary alkaline batteries. Energizer E-Squared lithium keeps going.
They say you can't control the weather. They say you can't control road conditions. And they say you can't get an affordable car that's safe. The new Subaru Impreza, the only car in its class with all-wheel drive and the highest crash test rating. Nicely equipped at less than 18 grand.
When you've got nighttime sinus problems, the agony is written all over your face. There's the unbearable pressure, the cloggy congestion, and the throbbing pain. But now, there's new NyQuil Sinus. It lets you turn out the light on sinus symptoms so you can sleep. New NyQuil Sinus. Good night, sinus pain. For daytime sinus relief, try non-drowsy DayQuil Sinus.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Because you're mine, I walk the line.
My dad got this special deck. We never have to stain it. Then my dad built this wall all by himself. Then my dad got this, a fire pit. Wow, your dad must be cool. Not really.
Don't miss the Home Depot Home Show. Discover hundreds of today's smartest, most innovative ideas for your home. Now you can create a beautiful stack stone look in half the time, and much more. Now at the Home Depot Home Show.
Well, we go to the 4th quarter. Michigan leading 17-10. The Wolverines the only touchdown of the 3rd quarter. Our presentation of college football on ESPN brought to you by Cars.com. Not the best vantage point for that big gathering of Badger fans who've made the trip to the big house. Top of the end zone. Their team 80 yards away from that end zone. 5th possession of the 2nd half, and still nothing doing for Wisconsin. A 1-yard completion to Travis Beckham. They've had 4 prior possessions in this half. All have gone 3 and out. And the field position has been the big reason why. The best field position of the half to start a possession, their own 33.
Well, at least Paul Chryst came out and tried to throw the football, but the speed of Michigan's defense continues to shine as the game goes on, something they were lacking last year where they fatigued in the 4th quarter. Now they get stronger in the 4th quarter.
Wisconsin certainly misses Jonathan Orr and Brandon Williams, 2 big Playmaking wide receivers. Stocco sacked. Tim Jamison will check that. Alan Branch.
Well, when you can rush 4 like Alan Branch likes to do, like Ron English, you'll see Branch right here. Watch him work, gets underneath and keeps working. His pad level is low, and he's able to secure the deal. No deal, Howie. No deal. A good job, but just keep pushing him. Pad level, man. Big fella at 6'6", getting lower than the offensive lineman. Andy Kemp wins the battle.
3rd and 17. 4-man rush. They don't need the blitz. They don't even try to get a first down. The dump off to Hill. He had no chance to get anywhere near the marker. David Harris, the tackle. The offense awful, but give this Michigan defense credit. They have talent just about everywhere you look.
Well, talent starts with probably the most valuable player, David Harris. Great break on the football, just got him in his sights and closed the deal.
Tenth punt from DeBush. Most he's ever had in a game, as you might expect. Maybe he's getting tired. This one not very good. Low and returnable for Breston. Out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Chased out by Johnny White. 42-yard punt, but a 26-yard return. And again, the punt game has been the story in this football game.
Yeah, one thing Stevie Breston has is patience right there. He sets a return by going right, shooting back to his left, gave him a leg and took it away. And shooting using his speed down the sidelines, getting everything he can get. Talent unleashed by Stevie Breston in the return game.
He and the former Badger Nick Davis, the only players in Big Ten history with 1,000 yards in 3 different categories for a career. Kick returns, punt returns, and receiving. Mike Hart found a seam. Mark Zalewski made the tackle. And now any score, even just a field goal, is huge to put Michigan ahead by 2 scores, given the woeful performance of this Wisconsin offense.
It's a good job of patience. And we asked Mike Hart yesterday what his greatest attribute was. And like all great running backs, and I expected him to say this, and he did. He said, my vision. Outstanding vision. Sees the field and trusts his linemen to sustain blocks.
Penny on the run, has a man. Adrian Arrington. 1st and goal at the 6. Here's Reese.
All right, Sean, Rutgers trying to go 4-0 for the first time since 1980 against Howard, Mike Teal to Clark Harris. Clark Harris, one of the best tight ends in the country, going to bust that one in for the touchdown, and the Scarlet Knights jumping on top. They have a 7-0 lead in the first. And Virginia Tech has a little breathing room. Brandon Orr has scored 22-13 Hokies over the Bearcats.
Here it's Michigan looking for breathing room. Mike Hart tangled up one of his blockers. Zalewski there to cover him. Gain of 1 to the 5. 85 yards rushing now for Hart. 15 away from his 4th 100-yard game in as many games this year.
Yeah, I'm going to make a master of the obvious comment, but it's one that needs to be made. Wisconsin needs to hold them to a field goal attempt to stay in this ball game. It's a big difference between touchdown and field goal and 2 touchdowns. They got to get their heads up and buckle up. Badger up.
Two tight ends in the game. Hart trying to follow the fullback. Touchdown! Looked like they had him stuffed to the line of scrimmage. But Hart managed to slide in the end zone for a 2-touchdown lead for the Wolverines.
Rarely does he go down on first contact. So it makes him great, sets him apart.
First rushing touchdown of the day for Michigan, 5th of the year for Hart. Wisconsin came in having not given up a TD pass all year. They've given up 2 of those, and now the 5-yard run by Hart.
In 4 hours or more, consult your doctor.
Did he just say 4 hours? That's ridiculous.
Man, 4 hours is not a health warning, okay? It's a scheduling issue. Carrie, hold my calls.
Hold my mail.
And why would you call your doctor? Send him a tip?
And if it lasted 4 hours, the doctor would be the last.
Holy.
Get full from Taco Bell's value menu. I'm full! Introducing Taco Bell's half-pound value menu lineup. Now fill up on any of 3 hefty half-pound burritos to keep your stomach and your wallet full. Think outside the bun. Here we go!
There are some crazy blades out there, so reach for the ultimate balm. Replenishing aftershave balm with Care Protect soothes and repairs the damage from shaving. Only from Nivea for Men.
Spending limit? Who cares?
Not us, cause them ain't no credit codes.
Sure ain't.
Them motorcycles was expensive and fast.
And loud.
Oh yeah, them bikes be like wah.
No, like.
They went like wah. Sound good cause they free. Shoot.
Yeah, shoot.
Citi Identity Theft Solutions. Talk to a real person to help get your life back. Free when you get a Citi credit card or Citibank account.
Biggest lead of the game for either team. Michigan by 14 before a crowd of 111,058. Mike Hart nearing the 100-yard mark for the 4th game in a row. His 5-yard touchdown has given them the 2-touchdown lead. And the Michigan defense sensational today. Booming kickoff by Ross Ryan and no chance for Josh Nettles. Tonight on ABC, Saturday Night Football, most of you will see the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame trying to bounce back as they take on Michigan State just up the road in East Lansing. Possibility of some very severe weather there tonight. Others will see USC battling Arizona. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. 11 yards in this half on 5 possessions. No first downs. Michigan defense has 9 tackles for a loss today. For 47 yards of losses. Hill briefly had some running room. Gets 3. Prescott Burgess took him down. I think we've identified a problem that's probably going to linger all season long for Wisconsin, because really don't have anybody who's considered a big playmaker, a wide receiver. Stocko's had time a lot of times today. Can't find anybody open. There's nobody who really scares you at that wideout spot. They have a bunch of guys who should be 3rd or 4th wide receivers on a really good team.
Well, they're a young group out there, not necessarily young in age, but young in experience. And they have not been able, as you said, Sean, to create any separation to give Stocko a chance.
Stocko juggled and dropped. They went to a true freshman, Isaac Anderson, hoping to haul in just his 2nd career catch. He had one against Western Illinois. He should have had that one. Stocko put it right on the money. He made the hand catch that you like, but the hands weren't good enough.
Well, you got to be able to bring that in, and you look at it. That's not uncommon around college football or pro football that I've noticed. A lot of drop balls for whatever reason this year. And again, an opportunity to make a play. Anderson has a chance to compete for some playing time. Doesn't take advantage of it.
Isaac's dad, Melvin, was a fine wide receiver at the University of Minnesota. Played in the NFL with Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Tim Jamison this time. with the third sack of the day for Michigan.
This is P.J. Hill. Watch Jameson right here. The line's gonna slide this way. P.J. Hill's coming this way. The only problem, P.J. Hill goes that way for the swing pass. But if you slide that way, the running back's responsibility is come and chop that outside leg of that defensive end. Instead, P.J. Hill released on the swing. Stocco didn't have time to get in the swing. Stocco gets chucked up rubber in his helmet for getting slammed to the ground.
Another low line drive punt for DeBush on his 11th punt. A weary coverage team that's had a very rough day. Finally gets him on the ground at the 41-yard line. James Kamoku made the tackle. 22 yards on that Breston return of a 46-yard punt, but it was a low liner. 9:44 to go. Michigan by 14.
Bye, hon. Find us a good one.
Bye.
With over 1.5 million vehicle listings to choose from on Cars.com, you can find the right car for you.
There it is.
Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
So they're just driving along talking about whatever, and suddenly, wham.
I know, I saw it.
Just think maybe they went too far.
I think where they went was real.
But is it just shocking for the sake of shocking?
But being in an accident isn't a shock? That's what they call it, an accident.
Yeah, but you're watching TV, commercial comes on.
It's your fight. It's your time. This is your moment in life.
The Contender 2 hours season finale, Tuesday 10 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN.
Let's go to. How would you like to earn an additional $1 million in your lifetime? College graduates do. The University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College in southeastern Ohio offers nearly 70 academic programs, ranging from one-year certificates to master's degrees. You'll have access to a technologically innovative campus, an active campus life, and evening, weekend, and online class options. Want to get closer to your million at Rio Grande? Yes, you can. University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College in southeastern Ohio.
These people want to kill us. Whether called Al-Qaeda, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, they're terrorists who want to kill all those who don't submit to their extreme ideology. Submit to a system where women have no rights, where innocent civilians are political pawns. Many seem to have forgotten the evil that happened only 5 years ago. They would cut and run in the Middle East, leaving Al-Qaeda to attack us again. Many times before 9/11, Al-Qaeda...
ESPN's college football is presented by Cars.com. Find the right car for you, Cars.com. And in part by the 200 horsepower Volkswagen GTI. Make friends when you're fast.
They're excited here in Ann Arbor. They can sense 4-0 for the season, leading by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter with the football at the Wisconsin 41. They're looking for revenge. This is the second of 3 straight games for Michigan against teams they lost to last year. They avenged the defeat against Notre Dame. About to do it against Wisconsin, it seems. Next, Minnesota. Looked like Manningham was thinking about throwing, held on, and got back to the line. Well, it's already been a brutal day for the Wisconsin punt units in each direction, and then they add some really poor sportsmanship to their abysmal performance. Look at that leg twist.
There. You know, you take a look. Kamoku right here has him down. Now watch the extracurricular activity. That's ridiculous.
That's how you hurt somebody.
And I hope Brett Bielema addresses that in the film room, that cannot be allowed. And you got to understand, as a player, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. You can't be doing that kind of football if you want to be a Badger football player. I don't know Badgers that play like that.
Tevin Brady tackled by Jonathan Casillas. Here's Reese.
Sean, Purdue also off to a good start in Big Ten play. It would seem up 20-14 on Minnesota, game that's on ESPN2. And Curtis Painter finds Jason Taylor, second touchdown of the day and second of his career. And the Boilers up 27-14 about halfway through the fourth.
Exciting first day of the Big Ten schedule. Number of the conference teams playing conference foes today. Third down, Henny with the play clock run down. Now is a first down. Mario Manningham to the 28-yard line. 10-yard gain for Manningham. We talked about they're looking for somebody to emerge as the go-to guy. I think they found that man.
Well, he is the go-to guy. I'll tell you another guy that's been able to step up is Adrian Arrington, who has a couple catches today. But Mario Manningham is starting to distinguish himself as a #1 guy, and Chad Henne has great confidence in throwing the football to him. And Sean, I got to tell you, Henne to me gets better and better as each game goes on.
Second year in a row, Manningham's had more than 100 yards receiving against Wisconsin. Has 113 today. Kevin Grady powers down to the 21. They've had some great receivers. Anthony Carter, Desmond Howard in that familiar pose. David Terrell had 152 yards, 2 receptions rather, 52 receptions. And then Braylon Edwards, 252 receptions before he went to the Cleveland Browns. The second pick in the entire draft. Perhaps Manningham will be worthy of being included on that list someday. Brandon Minor, the running back now. Leichhardt has 91 yards with the big lead. Apparently they won't put him in there to get to 100. You wouldn't want to risk an injury. Mark Zalewski made the tackle, but Minor, a freshman from Richmond, Virginia, got the first down.
Coaching staff's really high on Brandon Minor. True freshman coming in, getting some PT and running like a Michigan back normally runs. Tough and hard. One cut and hit it. You can see the exhaustion setting in on Wisconsin's defense and the killer instinct being exhibited by the Michigan offense.
This offense has been on the field for the vast majority of the second half. Grady again, a sophomore, all-time leading rusher in the history of Michigan high school football. And another guy who benefited from that conditioning program, Lloyd Carr, says he is noticeably quicker than he was a year ago.
He's down about 20 pounds. David Harris down 11. Big Jake Long down about 20. I told Coach Carr, you know, that Jenny whatever has something going on as far as diet plans. You got to have the Lloyd Carr diet plan and market it. People will buy it here in Michigan. They buy everything with Michigan on it, including cereal. Lloyd Carr lose weight plan. Like it.
Brandon Minor, the ball carrier. Mike Newkirk made the tackle. Of course, we started the season with some suggesting locally after Michigan was an uncharacteristic 7-5 last year that Lloyd Carr was in the hot seat. All of his bosses who matter, the school president Mary Sue Coleman, the athletic director Bill Martin, says that's nonsense. But you get off the hot seat pretty quickly too when you win at Notre Dame, and then you go to 4-0 by winning your conference opener.
I had a chance to spend some time with Bo Schembechler yesterday, the great coach from Michigan, and he's certainly a backer of Lloyd Carr and what he's done. Coach Bo is still feisty.
I wish I could say I'm surprised by that. I'm sure that surprises no one. Chad Henne runs out of bounds, and the field goal unit will come on. Nick Hayden ran him out. But a pretty good possession. They took time off the clock and then put Michigan in position to score more points. The best news of all, perhaps, for these fans, they did not get poured on. There were a lot of forecasts of heavy rain here today, but after some pregame rain, it hasn't really rained a drop here all day. Garrett Rivas, 2 for 2 today. That one good from 32 yards. And cruise control now for Lloyd Carr, up by 17.
4 hours or more, consult your doctor.
Did he just say 4 hours? That's ridiculous.
Man, 4 hours is not a health warning, okay? It's a scheduling issue. Carrie, hold my calls.
Hold my mail.
And why would you call your doctor? Send him a tip?
And if it lasted 4 hours, the doctor would be the last. Holy.
If you haven't discovered the miracle of fusion, it's time you did. Gillette Fusion. Until now, pressure caused irritation. Fusion has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure, with less irritation and more comfort. Flip Fusion over. A precision trimmer for those tricky places. The comfort of 5 blades, plus the precision of 1. The best shave ever in manual and battery powered. Gillette guarantees it or your money back. Gillette Fusion.
Tap the can, ladies, for a single. You can mingle. There's my double cheeseburger and my sweet sundae. I love hot French fries. And top it off with a parfait. That'll work.
Now's the time to take advantage of the McDonald's Dollar Menu.
Food for my party? Busted.
From parfaits to fries to double cheeseburgers.
Where's my parfait, homie?
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines, Notre Dame, Michigan State, or USC, Arizona. Tonight at 8, college football lives here.
Back here in Ann Arbor, college football presented by Cars.com on ESPN. Michigan about to avenge its loss to Wisconsin and Madison last year. And the Wolverines on their way to their 37th victory in their last 39 Big Ten openers. Josh Nettles will try to run back this Ross Ryan kickoff. Gets to the 15, and that's it. Tackled by Laterial Savoy.
Josh Nettles returned the kickoff.
I don't want to harp on it, but Red Bielema talked about the importance of winning the special teams battle today, and they've lost it in just about every area.
Another thing to notice, again, if you're looking at 7-5, you go back and examine why Michigan was 7-5. They couldn't finish, and they got tired in the fourth quarter. What I've seen so far this season of the Wolverines is they get stronger as the game goes on, offensively and defensively.
Stocco looked like a broken play, but it is a completion to Luke Swan, the junior. Stocco's been under duress all day. There have been plenty of times when the line's given him good protection. He couldn't find anybody open. And there have been other times when they've just swarmed him under.
They've been able to do it, especially in the second half, Sean, with just bringing 4 men, which allows them to drop 7 in coverage.
I know you still have hope, at least theoretically, but if you're Red Bielema would consider getting Stocco out of there, I mean, it's a big drop-off to your number 2 quarterback, Tyler Donovan. And if you lose Stocco, lose his experience with this inexperienced offense around him, I think you're looking at a really rough year the rest of the way.
Yeah, and it also gives Tyler an opportunity to play, to get some game experience after this series. I believe if you have nothing going in this series, then I think you do take a look at Tyler Donovan on your next offensive possession.
Middle screen, and they get a first down. Andy Crooks, the tight end on the middle screen, a 15-yard gain, the first down of the half for Brett Bielema in the familiar long sleeve windbreaker. He wears that for every game regardless of the weather. Goes back to his first year at Iowa as an assistant. Rainy day on the opener. He wore the jacket they won. The next week they went to Tulsa on the road. It was hot. He didn't wear the jacket they lost. And the superstition was born. The Xavier Harris, the freshman, spun away but could not fully escape. Willis Behringer, 8 yards on the completion to Harris, his first career catch. True freshman from Fort Lauderdale. One of 8 true freshmen to see action so far this year for Wisconsin. I think those true freshman receivers may get more of a look as these weeks go along.
I think they have to, just to have a threat to run downfield.
Now Crooks out of bounds with another first down to the Michigan 46. Here's Reese.
Sean, Georgia remains in trouble. They yanked freshman Matthew Stafford out of the game at quarterback. Joe Cox in there. Now on a 4th and 3, they try to run it, and Craig Lumpkin will not make it to the yellow line. Ralphie's team takes over on downs. Colorado up 13-0 between the hedges in the 4th quarter. Brad Lester has a touchdown as Auburn is up on Buffalo.
Ralphie made that trip, didn't he? Or she?
I don't know. The defense made the trip, that's for sure. Stocko flushed again, throws, caught. Travis Beckham, first year as a tight end. He's a very good athlete. Just 220 pounds, highly recruited out of Milwaukee. 17-yard gain. And the ball at the 29-yard line. The Badgers, as we said, leave Stocko in, they still have a shot.
Well, it's good composure by John Stocko. One thing I know watching this kid play over a number of years is that he's not going to quit. And he did a great job of keeping his vision downfield to find his tight end on the crossing route.
Stocko given plenty of time. Dumps it off for P.J. Hill. Stopped short of the first down at the 22. Bear in mind they burned a couple of timeouts to the Badgers early in this half. So they have just one left with under 3.5 minutes to go, down by 17. Hill looks like he's pooped. David Harris made the tackle. Most of the starters still in for this Michigan defense. They're not conceding the outcome of this one. Oh, terrible throw, and he got away with it. Out of bounds, incomplete pass to Travis Beckham. There were 2 blue shirts perfectly positioned, it seemed, to pick it off, and somehow Stocko got it through. Beautiful throw. That looks like a catch.
I think you got to throw the red flag out on that one, Coach.
Yep.
Beckham does a good job, and poor decision, but good throw. Where he threw that ball high, where only he knew that Beckham, that has a little bit of leaping ability, can make that. Now, if I'm Brett Bielema, throw the flag.
And one of the assistants is running down now.
Yep.
The official came running to him, was about 50 yards to the other end of the field.
I think he had the flag poised to throw. He was just waiting for the buzz down from the booth.
We don't know if it was the replay official who buzzed in or if in fact it's a Wisconsin challenge.
Now this should be an easy overturn of a call. Beckham does a good job, catching at the highest point. Right foot is in bounds.
And this is not a Wisconsin challenge. The replay official, Jim Augustine, saw what you saw and correctly decided they needed to stop this. I would think he doesn't need much more time to look at it either. I mean, possession, foot in bounds.
There you go, and I think it's important to note that we asked Jim.
It's still possession all the way to the ground there.
Before the game, that the replay officials aren't under any type of time limit. Which some
obviously
people,
not in this case.
No, well, some people might think out of the week last week out in Oregon and Oklahoma, in the situation out there where the official said he felt rushed. So I asked Jim specifically, as a replay official.
There's indisputable video evidence that the Wisconsin receiver caught the ball and was put down at the 10-yard line. First and goal at the 10-yard line.
Good job on the replays.
Dave Chesney, the other man you saw in the replay booth. Well done there. So they're going to spot the ball near the 10-yard line, right on the 10-yard line. So it is first and goal. for Wisconsin. 3:05 to go. They're down by 17.
At home, I can hear people in Wisconsin say, where was this offense all game? But note that Michigan has been playing a passive defense on this drive, making Wisconsin go the long haul.
I don't know why you do that. You've dominated playing the way you played all day. That one, Rowan came in at tailback. Stocko throws it away.
I'll tell you why you do it. You make Wisconsin use up the clock. You get them down in the red zone, then you start to tighten up. It's a shorter field, more difficult to execute, not enough room to throw the pass, but you don't want to give up the big ball and keep and a quick score to give Wisconsin time to play again. Make them use the clock. Right there, 9 plays.
The way you were playing before, they didn't have one first down the entire half and didn't look like they were going to come close to getting a first down.
I agree with you, but you play the percentages if you're the head coach.
P.J. Hill stopped at the line of scrimmage. David Harris again with help from Ryan Mundy. Mundy didn't play in their win at Wisconsin last year. He missed most of the year with a nerve injury that took a long time to heal.
Sean, I don't know if he's on any of these lists, the Buckus or Lombardi or Nagurski or whatever other list there is, but David Harris should be put on those lists because he's as strong a linebacker as I've seen in college football.
Stocko on the design rollout. Now decides to run to the 9-yard line, and that's it. It was David Harris who chased him out again.
And grew up wanting to be a Wolverine.
Well, you need 3 scores, so Brett Bielema decides, let's get the field goal here. Try to onside kick, get a touchdown. Try to onside kick, get a touchdown again. That's all they need to do.
I agree with this. You try to get points whenever you can.
Taylor Melhoff, 26-yard attempt. 1 for 1 today. He's 2 for 2 today. (27-13) Michigan. 2:19 to go. And now the inevitable onside kick. They're due for a highlight on special teams today. And Barry Alvarez, has he switched allegiances? There he is on the Michigan sideline. The athletic director of Wisconsin, 16 years the head coach. Eventually will make his way, obviously, toward the Wisconsin sideline. Brett Bielema still doesn't have far to go. The office is not far away. Barry Alvarez from Brett Bielema and the nice facilities they have there in Madison.
I know Barry's feet might have been on Michigan sidelines, but I guarantee you his heart was over there on the white sideline, the white jersey sideline.
It's 77 yards on that drive. That matches Steve Breston's punt return yardage total in this half.
Just to reiterate on the onside kick, after last week, Wisconsin is not allowed to make contact with the ball until it goes 10 yards. The only way they can make contact with the ball if Michigan makes contact with the ball before 10 yards.
Michigan recovers. Essentially, it's ball game over. Wisconsin with just 1 timeout left. It went 10 yards. It's a free ball. And it goes out of bounds. Swept out alertly by Mario Manningham. There is a flag down.
We're going to get Mario Manningham from, I believe, maybe illegal batting of the ball. That was a well-executed onside kick, by the way. You get that one hopper
There's
high
no
height.
foul for a kick out of bounds. The ball was touched by the receiving team before it went out. First down.
This crew has to lead the country in flag pickups.
Yeah. They'll get it. It's their first Big Ten game, but watch the execution of this kick. Watch Breston. Now, he's just a sacrificial lamb. Whap! And you see the hustle where you have an opportunity to get the ball. The only problem is you have to have a designated catcher. They do in Strickland for Wisconsin. And the other guys don't even look for the ball. You're supposed to go take out Breaston like they did. Well executed, just didn't come up with the ball. And a good job by Mario Manning, excuse me, I said illegal bet, of knocking that ball out of bounds so there's no threat of Wisconsin recovering it.
Tyler Holland walloped Breaston. Smart move here by Henne, taking a lot of time in the huddle. With the new rule, the clock runs after the change of possessions. They'll take the play clock down. Brandon Miner, the freshman again. Joe Stellmacher in on the tackle with Mark Zalewski. They still have the defensive starters in. And I don't understand that at all, Chris. You have no chance to win now. I mean, realistically, you have no chance to win. If Zalewski gets hurt, Stellmacher gets hurt, you put a big blow to the rest of your season.
That's a personal choice that a coach makes. I've seen it go both ways. But I know one thing, and this is just me, and it's easy for me up here in the booth to say this, but I don't ever leave a game with timeouts on the field if I'm losing. I don't care if the score's 100-0. I use them. Sends a message to your team.
Kevin Grady. Mark Zalewski again in on the tackle.
There you go. There's your timeout. Good job, Brett.
Wisconsin.
Gives us a chance to remind you the college football scoreboard presented by Acura is coming up next. A lot of surprising scores around the country. You'll be up to date as soon as we're finished here in Ann Arbor. Wisconsin out of timeouts. Our Cooper Tires player of the game is Mario Manningham. Followed up that career day at Notre Dame last week with 113 yards receiving and 2 more long touchdown receptions. 7 catches in all today.
What I like about it, Sean, first of all, the slugger move, slant and go, and ability to finish. But remember, his first attempt of the day, he dropped the ball. The ball flew up in the air. Langford from Wisconsin comes in with the interception, and Wisconsin was able to get points off the turnover on their first offensive possession, which led to their only touchdown. But Mario came back nice and did a great job of forgetting the bad and going on with the good. And he certainly did go on with the good with the day he had.
Wolverines are at Minnesota next Saturday, and then 2 weeks from today, another big rivalry game. Michigan State comes to the big house for a late afternoon game. And he's going to throw on 3rd down, and he throws his 3rd interception of the day. Jack Ikuguano looking for blockers on the run back.
I don't know why.
Wow.
Lloyd Carr possibly sending a message.
Yeah, you want to call a timeout, then we're going to play to the end and maybe run it up on you, but
that's all right.
I don't know. I mean, do you blame Brett Bielema that much for using the timeout? Take a knee and get the ball game over.
You know, I don't blame Brett for using that timeout, and Lloyd sending a message that if you're going to call a timeout, then it's your job to stop me.
Yeah, and you leave your quarterback open to that.
That's right.
I mean, you want to go right back on the hot seat if you're Lloyd Carr. If that separates Henne's shoulder when you have no proven backup quarterback, that gets you back on the hot seat at full blast, and deservedly so. Isaac Anderson, the catch at midfield.
That's good to see. Young, true freshman who had a drop early, coming across the middle and making a tough catch. These guys are vying for playing time now for the young Wisconsin receivers.
Out of bounds goes Andy Crooks. Brandon Logan, a backup linebacker, made the tackle.
I understand both sides of that, Sean. I understand Coach Carr sending a message, and it certainly could be questioned, just run the clock out, Coach. And Brett, certainly as a coach, you never want to leave the field with timeouts. That's a rule that a lot of coaches have, no matter what, especially being a first-year coach. You want to send a message that I'm going to stay in the field.
I understand the Wisconsin part of it a lot more than the Michigan part. And Henne took a shot that could end your season if he didn't get up from that hit. Crooks dropped the screen pass. It'll be 3rd down. I mean, they have absolutely nobody ready to back up Chad Henne. Anybody you talk to around Ann Arbor the 2 times we've been here say, yeah, we have a terrific team, but if anything happens to Henne, what's going to happen? Jason Forcier is the guy, but he is totally unproven.
Again, Coach Carr Made the call, and he doesn't have the headset on. We want to know if that call went in without his knowledge with Mike DeBoer. Rob Stone will be on the case.
Another screen for Isaac Anderson. First down to the 35-yard line. First down, Badgers 36-yard line. Stocco spikes it. 11 seconds to go. I mean, if the reason you called the timeouts, though, when you have starters in the game, is you're going to try to win the game, eventually you have to throw one toward the end zone, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at
running out of time to do that.
Well, I am, and again, though, you're also the idea might be you want to work on your 2-minute offense, knowing that your chances of winning the game aren't there, and you hit the screen to hopefully bust one, or to give your young true freshman just some confidence in catching the ball. There you go, to the end, well, close to the end zone.
Yep. Deep for Xavier Harris. 6 seconds to go. Willis Behringer had the coverage. So Wisconsin will suffer its first loss under Brett Bielema and go to 3-1. They have a pretty favorable schedule coming up. At Indiana, then home for Northwestern, home with Minnesota the next 3 weeks. Well, matter of fact, when we talked with Mike Hart yesterday, said, hey, this is an important game for us because if Wisconsin wins this with an eye toward the Big Ten, they don't play Ohio State this year. They don't play Michigan State.
And he had an eye on their schedule.
Yep. 1 second left. Jeff Holzbauer, the intended receiver, and couldn't hang on.
Brett Bielema, I get the old Hail Mary out. Send a message to your young team. The guys, no matter what, we're going to play to the last down. Now, that might be unpopular in some places, but I think you do, as you got to make your mark as a head coach and say, I'm never quitting. I don't care what the score is. I line up 3 across, throw the jump ball, see what happens. Make them play to the end. That's what football is. Play to the end, baby. Let's go. In the end zone.
Stocco, incomplete. And Isaac Anderson got walloped in the back. And that's the end of the game. Kind of an ugly finish. Another big day for Mario Manningham. 2 more touchdowns, 5 in the last 2 weeks. Michigan a perfect 4-0 with Minnesota next on the docket. Mike Hart didn't get to 100 yards for the first time this season. He had 91. They didn't have him in there late. But he was a factor as usual. It was the defense and special teams that ruled the day for Michigan. 27-13, the final score.
You know, one thing about this Michigan football team.
We'll get that in a moment. Here's Rob with Lloyd Carr.
Coach and I almost run over here. What was the difference between the first and the second half, Coach?
Well, I think we run the football much more effectively, but I credit Wisconsin for an outstanding effort. Their defense did a great job on us, and you know, but our defense did a great job after the first drive of controlling the running game. I thought that was the difference, and we did some good things on special teams.
On your final offensive possession, why the decision to let Henne air it out and go deep?
Well, it was 3rd down, wasn't it?
Go for the score?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Or at least the first down. Don't think Lloyd liked the question.
Well, we got to ask him.
Yep. Then he gave his answer. All's fair. Michigan wins by 2 touchdowns. College football scoreboard presented by Acura is up next. For Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, and our entire crew, Sean McDonough saying good afternoon from Ann Arbor, Michigan. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.